Doesn't matter.
Hey, Steve. Hmm.
George, how you doing today?
Pretty good. Worked outside. It's too hot. I wouldn't
It
want your
wasn't
job.
too bad.
The humidity kills me.
Yeah,
As you get older, it's just like beats the crap out of you.
yeah. Yeah, it was a little toasty for sure.
Oh, that plus I'm probably like 30 or 40 years older than you, but
Yeah, that's true. We're doing yard work.
yeah, mostly yard work.
Yeah, good, good. Fun is the fun
How
is
was
old in
the,
the house.
did you guys finish the yard work?
No, we Andra sidetracked us and decided like 3 trees needed to come down. So that like really took me south. And after 3 hours later, I was like spent. It's so hot out.
It is really hot. You shouldn't be doing that stuff, guys. Hey,
And I'm
listen,
too old.
we got some people here, so we're going to, and mostly the commission's here. And thank you and Steve B is Steve Biella. So we know he's online. So I'm going to go ahead and if you guys are right, we're going to go ahead and bang us in. All right. Calling it to order at 7:05. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Stand one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty, and justice. Oh, I couldn't hear you guys at all.
Thank you. Okay, that's all right. I think she muted us. I don't know. All right, so we're gonna do a roll call. Maureen, you want to do the roll call?
Daly? Here. You put on my speaker, I'm sorry. June Daly? Here. George Millard?
Here.
Ann Jorsey? Here. Zigma?
Here.
Brian Rogan, that's to be excused.
Yes, Brian had a baby.
Congratulations.
I mean, Brian's wife had the baby. He helped.
Yeah, he had something to do with it.
All right,
Chairman Veely?
here.
Scott Himmel?
Scotty, are you online? He's not. Okay, excused. All right.
Excused for now.
Yeah, for now.
He joins alternate John Dyken,
I am present.
alternate Steve Biella Jr.
Online, I'm here.
All right. Well, seeing that we have two alternates and we have two missing commissioners, we'll ask you both to be seated for the meeting. Is that okay with you folks?
Understood.
All right, let's move
Yes.
on. Okay, approval of the minutes, the meeting minutes. We had July 16th and 23rd. Did we
So
get
we're
the,
asking you to please postpone the minutes. We
Oh.
did not finish distributing them yet.
okay.
Still.
All right, so postpone. Do we need a motion on that?
No.
No, okay, great. All right, receipt of new applications and scheduling of public hearings as required or necessary. Item A is a site plan amendment application of Jeff Tracy for a proposed 1,310 square foot addition at 86 Commerce Street, property of Commerce Street Holdings LLC in the PI zone. I guess we're supposed to decide this by October 10th. When do you want to?
No hearing or scheduling is required, as long as you don't want to hit hearing, it's receipt only. Acknowledging receipt of the application.
Just the application.
Okay. Then next up is commission business. We have a site plan application of Kelly Hovey Klink for an unmanned redemption center located in the parking lot at Stop and Shop at 1135 Farmington Avenue, property of the Legion Square Associates LLC in the CCD2 zone. Okay, who do we, yes, hi, come on up. All right, great. Can you just use the microphone? Now, that microphone's a little bit funky, so you have to lean into it, but state your name and address for the record. And
I do have some site plan handouts. I don't know if you folks have seen this information.
I think that I did,
Okay.
but maybe others need it. Does anyone else?
Sorry, what was it?
The site plan,
That was,
In the
that was
Dropbox.
it's in the Dropbox.
well, it's this one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I do have one and see if you need one.
Of course.
Oh,
Thanks,
yeah.
folks. Kelly Hubby with Clink. I'm the Director of Brand Delivery. We're headquartered in South Portland, Maine. We are in the redemption recycling business. We've been in business for over 20 years. We've operated in the state of Maine with our retail partner Hannaford Supermarkets. We expanded into New York State with Hannaford about 10 years ago. And recently we have developed an expansion plan with a local retailer here, Stop and Shop, in the state of Connecticut. We ran a pilot test with them in 2025. It went exceedingly well. And so we're scaling into all 80 of the Stop and Shop locations across the state of Connecticut. We're currently live in 15 locations. We're permitted and looking for deployment in another 7. And we have 22 other locations currently in active permitting, including here in the community of Berlin. Basically, the way our program works is we simplify the traditional redemption experience to allow the consumer to get their bottle deposits back and to have that product then be recycled at a high quality rate. So a food grade quality product going back to the distributors and back into the commodities market to be re-recycled at its highest and best use as bottles and cans instead of getting downcycled, which is traditionally what happens as curbside recycling or other recycling modalities. So what we bring to the table is a self-contained, purpose-built structure that it sits on an aluminum frame. The entire structure is made of recycled aluminum, and recycled plastic bottle material creates a wall called Edora. It's a new building product. The entire thing is 100% self-sustaining. It runs exclusively off of solar and wind power. It does not require any shore power, trenching, site work, utilities, nothing. Basically, we bring it in, set it on the parking lot, and it's commissioned and ready to go within 2 hours with that solar panels being hooked up to run the technology. The way the program works is the customer creates a free account. They can do it online, they can do it in the app, they can call up to our customer service team, they can create a physical card account in store. So it does not require a phone or technology. You can do it with like an old Blockbuster type of card for folks that prefer the more tangible approach and like to have physical cards. So you create your account. There's no charge to do that. And basically, you take a Clink bag, a 13-gallon standard kitchen trash bag, and you fill it with redeemable containers. Any redeemable container that you've purchased at any retailer in the state of Connecticut. So it's not exclusivized to items that were purchased at the Stop and Shop. Glass, plastic, aluminum, no counting, no sorting. You simply place the containers in the bag until it's full. Once it is, you tie it tight, and then you'll put your personalized bag tag sticker on it that you print out at our kiosk in store. Typically, folks do it ahead of time so that it simplifies the process for them. And then you pull up in front of the station, hop out, scan the bag tag. That unlocks the window on the station. You place the whole bag inside. Within 2 business days or so, all of those containers are processed through our state-of-the-art processing center in Bristol. And for every item in the bag that's a Connecticut deposit eligible item, that 10 cents is credited to your Clink account. The Clink account, you can view the balance on your phone if you have the app, or you can go into the store at any time and view the balance on the kiosk. A lot of people choose to use it as a savings account for Thanksgiving shopping, a vacation fund, what have you. Other folks choose to withdraw the money every time they go shopping and take $10, $15 off their grocery purchase. However you want to do it is up to you. But the idea of the program is that we provide a cleaner, quicker, more convenient redemption experience as a third modality to traditional reverse vending machines and the traditional redemption center experience. So we've had a lot of success with this just because of the simplification. A lot of people don't have the time associated with some of the other modalities, and this allows them to dual purpose their trip to the grocery store, whereby they're simply dropping off their redeemables, going to do their grocery shopping. The next time they go to do their grocery shopping, they can either withdraw the money or they know it's there for when they need it.
Hmm.
Anyone have any questions about our program?
You said that you had a pilot already in Connecticut at one of the Stop and Shops. Could you,
We're in 15 locations, active and live currently.
all right, which locations are they at?
So that's Simsbury, both in Bristol, Southington, Windsor, Granby, Willimantic, Putnam,
Oh man.
let's see here, Milford, Fairfield.
That's it.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mhm. And the building itself, the structure itself, how many bags does it hold?
It varies based on the size of the bags that folks are dropping, but the structure itself is going to be for this location in Berlin. We're looking at an 8-foot by 24-foot by 8-foot high. So it fits right into, as you can see the photo on the screen there. It will take up 4 parking spaces. Basically, the structure itself will take up 3, and then we keep 1 space adjacent to the left. If you're looking at the structure, the left side end is an access door to
Mhm.
allow our operations team to retrieve the bags, clean the station, do any regular station maintenance. The station maintenance, we have 2 full-time brand ambassadors that work for us in Connecticut, as well as a full operations staff that picks up the bags and does the processing of the containers. The brand ambassadors go to multiple stores every day in the market. They're cleaning customer touch points, making sure that the station functionality is where it needs to be. Checking in, really just kind of providing a high level of customer service as we continue to get traction and do these different customer acquisition events. So they're really there to educate the public as well as to, make sure that our station's functioning optimally.
I mean, you said that the trash bags that they accept are 13 gallons, so that's a tall kitchen
That's a
garbage.
standard kitchen
Kitchen
trash
garbage,
bag. Yep,
okay.
that's correct.
Do I have to purchase the bags?
So the bags are for sale at the store, but we're changing our program to allow anyone to use any 13-gallon kitchen trash bag.
Okay.
So although our bags are by far the cheapest, if you prefer to buy bags in bulk at Costco or what have you, that's perfectly fine. You would just place your bag tag sticker on whichever bag you chose to use.
Okay. Well, I think it's a very interesting project, and it certainly is intriguing. I have some concerns, and I'm going to share them. I'm going to be quite frank with you.
Okay.
My number one concern is the way it looks. Where you're proposing to place it at the Stop and Shop, I understand it's to the rear of it says the rear of the parking lot, and I understand there is some foliage or greenery that does buffer it from an open space, which is on the other side. And that open space has been very well cared for by the Legion. And I know that, being on this commission, I would hope that someday that open space lot would be developed. And if it became like a restaurant or something with an outside bar area or a nice little watering hole or family restaurant, I don't know that I would want them to have a Clink Redemption Center as a view.
Is it the branding that has you turned off?
Well, I think that the structure itself, I mean, the idea of it is very intriguing. But I think looking at it, I'm thinking this is basically a downtown of ours, and it has potential good growth. Right across that Veterans Way is our Gold Star Park.
Okay.
And we have the memorial to all the veterans who have served in all the wars, all the conflicts that we've had. And we have a brick path where they do luminaries, and it's a splendid park with a
Sounds
little,
beautiful.
yeah, it is. It's a really nice, solemn place. And I just don't know if this is the place for this project.
Of course,
I-
I fully.
And I don't, is there any other look to this
So
thing?
yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah, please, tell
Uh,
me.
One is we definitely have another option that's we call it a more muted branding.
Mm-hmm.
The structure is the same. However, the wrap, instead of being the louder kind of bright colors,
Yeah.
it's beige on top, it's a brick look bottom, and it has the Clink logo, and it says bottle and can redemption, and that's
Do
it.
you have a photo of that?
I have one electronically.
I would
not
love,
immediately right this moment, but I
Okay.
can certainly send it along.
yeah, I would
Um,
love to see
I
that.
will tell you, a number of municipalities have preferred that more muted look. If you would like a specific example of what it looks like, our station, and I don't know how far it is from here, but in Meriden,
Hmm.
we have one in the Meriden Stop and Shop, and that one has that muted beige with the brick look, if you're ever in the area. But
Yeah,
I will certainly send along a photo
yeah.
immediately at the conclusion. And then secondarily, as far as placement, whereas this structure does not require any utilities or trenching or anything of that nature, we simply bring it in on a flatbed, place it down. If it's ever wanted to be moved, it's as simple as pick it up, put it on a flatbed, move it to a different spot of the parking lot. So
Okay.
we have that option as well, if and when that other area were to be developed,
Mhm.
and or if you'd like to look at some other locations in the parking lot to go into out of
Yeah.
the gate, we're certainly happy to look at those other locations if you have suggestions.
Okay.
Our only concern is that it needs to have good southern facing solar exposure
Mhm.
to allow the station to function optimally.
Okay. One last question, and then I'm going to go back to the other commissioners. I get the first bite at the apple. This is wonderful. My other concern is, do you, in your experience, do you ever have a history of people who bring unwanted items such as sofas, TV sets, old chairs, busted up beach chairs, and just leave them?
No, we have not had any experience with that, because our structure is purpose-built with an intended function, and the windows are the size in which you can place a bag of redeemable containers inside. You're not fitting a sofa, you're not fitting whatever else. Additionally, we have both interior and exterior cameras, so we monitor the station constantly throughout the day. We're looking at it for, any type of evidence of overflow or
Mm.
trash, or if somebody threw a milkshake at the side of it, and so we're right on it. And especially having those two brand ambassadors in the state that live here, that work here, they can be to any station within an hour and a half, worst case scenario.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to go to the other commissioners. See, oh,
Can I comment on one thing?
yes.
So, as far as the branding and the building look, that's all considered signage and therefore has to comply with the regulations for signage regardless and does require additional permitting
Okay,
Or-
I just,
for those kinds of, the building. So when you look at the building they gave as an example, that wouldn't, fit the zoning regulations for signage. It would need to be pulled back from that anyway.
yeah, I was just worried, concerned with the aesthetics too. Okay,
The
okay.
an added comment that we were gonna make, so I
Yes.
thought now was the time.
Well,
to
yeah,
make
go ahead and grab into it.
Yeah.
Okay, and John, and then I'm going to swing over here.
I have to say, I'm a little embarrassed. I hadn't heard of this service because, I mean, the way you're describing it is absolutely fantastic. And I have to ask you, so how long has the Clink, business been around operating this way?
20 years in Maine, 10 years in New York State, and we've been in Connecticut since January of 2025.
Can I ask you, and obviously Connecticut being newer, but in, like, let's say Maine, do you find that where you actually have these locations, the reverse, I guess, what do you call those, soda machines,
machines.
they sort of are disappearing in those locations
They're
because
gone.
they're gone. Yeah.
And they're gone out of Stop and Shop when we go in as well within a couple of weeks. It's posted well in advance that, hey, we're coming, this is changing, the bottle room is closing. And we provide on-site brand ambassadors for 9 hours a day for like 4 days over a weekend, 4 days over the next weekend. And then we do what we call popcorn tabling events, where we have brand ambassadors in store, helping customers adjust to using the program, helping them get signed up, answering questions, helping them with use of the station, which is very, very simple. And we've gotten a lot of really tremendously positive feedback from the communities that we're in. One that I use most often as an example is the community of Simsbury. Being a relatively affluent community, a lot of folks weren't redeeming simply because they didn't need the money and it wasn't worth their time. But now that we've provided them with a modality that does not take any time whatsoever, the response has been tremendous, and they've increased their recycling rates almost 40%. The redemption rates going through that Stop and Shop from, year over year. So it's really a great program, both for the ease and simplicity of the consumer, as well as what it does for the community as a whole from an environmental perspective.
I mean, the fact is people are willing to put the bottles in the bags. It's just the issue is no one wants to go into an unsanitary room at a grocery store and start loading them in, and then the machine gets broken, and those rooms are always dirty anyway. So you've cut out the unpleasant part about recycling, and you've maintained the positive part about it. The one thing I will ask you though is why this particular part of Stop and Shop? Although in my head when I had heard about this, really that's where I thought it was going to go. But is this because Stop and Shop basically said to you, this is where it's going to, we're willing to have you put it?
We look at a couple different things when we're looking at where to place these structures in a parking lot. We look at traffic flow. We don't want to be right on a corner
Yeah.
of a high traffic entrance or exit. We try to be in full visibility of the store, but kind of out into where people typically don't park. So we don't want
Yeah.
to obscure good parking spaces. And then we look at the solar aspect to make sure that we can power the station efficiently.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
I think George has a question, and then we'll go over to this side. George,
I
do you have a question?
I have a
Yeah.
couple of questions, if I may.
Yes.
So, like Commissioner Dyken mentioned, I think this is a phenomenal project. I agree with the sentiment about walking in these redemption rooms and nothing's better than a smell of stale beer. It's like or the machine's not working or so forth. And the other aggravating thing is I've got, 2 cans that I bought at ShopRite versus Stop and Shop, and they don't take them. And now I got to bring them home. That's very, very aggravating. So my 2 questions, the first one is, what is your experience? The other thing that bothers me, like as Commissioner Dyken said, is like you walk in there and there's 4 machines and 3 of them are down. What's the reliability of your Clink processors in terms of their uptime, and what happens when they are down?
So we can, the solar powers everything in the station, the scanners, the lighting, all of the technology, the door locks, etc. Typically, if the station goes down, we get notified right away and we do a reboot to the system and it's back up within minutes. In the event that there's a serious failure, which is rare, we reach out to a brand ambassador, have the brand ambassador go on site. He does a hard reset on site and the station comes back on. There's very few instances where we actually need to send somebody on site. Typically, we are able to remote into the system, make a modification, reboot a thin client, so on and so forth, and that brings the station right back up.
Okay. I may have dreamed about this next statement. I don't know. But did I see something? Did I see something where you had a program that I could actually donate the money if I chose to?
So that's our Clink to Give platform that is currently in existence in New York and Maine. And we have our programmers and our developers working diligently to get it off the ground for Connecticut because it's been highly sought after as we continue to expand into the Connecticut market. So yes,
Well, I think
coming.
I think your comment about Simsbury, they don't need the money, but this would be a great, motivating factor for people to bring them instead of just throwing them in the recycling bin. So I think that's a great thing if you can push that sooner than later.
Absolutely.
That's all I had. Thank you.
We do have a number of organizations that we're working with currently that will transition to Clink to Give accounts once that program is live. But right now we have them set up under an administrator's personal account. We work with a number of the Boy Scout troops in the Bristol area. We work with veterinary shelters and so on and so forth for the animals, and different organizations that do charitable good work that accept donations of cans and bottles. So we are actively working with those groups outside of our Clink to Give program.
So just a suggestion, Stop and Shop has a program where, like, given in any month, they sort of nominate a local charity to be the recipient. So for example, they sell their Stop and Shop bags, and a certain amount of that goes to a certain charity for that month. I'm one of those charities. I work for an outfit called Boxes to Boots, and a couple of times a month they run that program. So that you could tie directly into Stop and Shop and that program. That might be a good thing. Just something to think about.
Absolutely. Of course, we'll do.
Okay, now I'm going to swing to this side. So any questions, comments? Yes, Tim?
I just, I think it's a great system. I just, on location of where you put this on this property now, this can be seen from the open lots that our commissioner, chairman was talking about, that has a lot of potential, something being built there, and it's used as playground and stuff now. So I was just thinking if you could move it over to the corner over here up top, okay, is that the bank, there's a bank on this side that's behind the VFW, right, which will block it from the north side or west side. And the trees are a little bit fuller in that location. Just to move it up there, I don't know if that's a problem. You know, but
Well, isn't that where the VFW is?
no,
on the-
VFW's further up here. This is the tar part of VFW, then the VFW is over here. So it just goes up to the bank that's that big apartment building behind there. I don't know, 18, 20 units, whatever it is.
Bank with the big
Uh,
apartment
Huh?
behind Stop and Shop? I'm trying to think of the.
Orders pass,
The bank,
orders pass. Am I going wrong?
okay, hold on. No. So you're moving it off-site.
No, I'm not moving it offsite. I'm just moving it 6, 7 parking places.
Well, that's towards the Legion.
Yeah,
Towards the Legion.
yeah, but there's no bank there.
The
I'm
Legion
got
property-
confused.
Yeah, there's a bank of property next to, behind the Legion. That park place goes up against, right there. There's a
dirt
a dirt bank.
Oh, a
Dirt
dirt
bank.
bank.
Dirt.
Oh, my God.
Money bank.
We thought a money bank. Oh, my God, I got so confused.
That's
You
what-
said there's a
that's
bank,
what it was.
here, and I'm going, what bank? It's like, what, maybe that's,
bank.
I
Hill,
couldn't,
Hill.
a Phil. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh,
Just moving
I
up.
haven't lost my mind yet.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I thought bank of dirt.
There's a reason for it.
I don't know. I guess you guys don't think that way.
If that's a location that the commission would be
Yeah.
satisfied with, I don't think we'd have any
You know,
issue.
it's still gonna have the site from the parking lot. And actually, if you're going around the whole site, you'll be driving right in front of it anyway. The other question I had on,
But would that interfere with the truck deliveries at Stop and Shop?
no, because it's the same.
Can I,
road.
can I make a comment on that suggestion? Something that's going on in the Legion. If you were
Okay.
standing in front of the Legion looking at the building,
Yeah.
you can see on the left-hand side, they just put a trailer in and they got some picnic tables over there. They are trying to
Oh.
get approval for a liquor permit to kind of have an outdoor area there. So I don't think you want to be too close to that area if Commissioner Zigmont's talking about.
I don't think it's that close, but.
Well, I'm just telling you, they're
that could
trying
be
to do
looked-
that. They're
That
with
could
the
be
liquor
looked into,
commission
but,
now.
I don't think it's that close to the building, but
Well,
I'm-
it's that area, not the building. It's the area to the left of it where,
Adjacent.
as you're looking to it, you can see some picnic tables out there. It's right on the property line. That's what they're trying to do. So just be cognizant of that too. You're worried about their lot on the other side. Also be worried about their property on the the right-hand side too.
If you could, Commissioner Zigmont, describe that a little more thoroughly for us so that if you do decide that you want to move, staff knows where you mean, or Alexa can point you.
right there, it's go up to the corner. Bring it up to the corner there, where those trees are, right there. You miss one parking place, then you gotta have an
Yeah,
open
that's
parking
down.
place.
That's Commissioner Miller's point, is that you
So-
don't want it too close to the Legion.
So I would like to make the point that there is some landscaping between,
Yeah, there's,
along the back of the parking lot.
Yeah,
And
it's not-
if it is on, Legion Square Associates or Stop and Shop's property, then, that's great. Because you can use that as screening that is, reliable to stay in place. The commission can also consider whether they want to add screening on the streets,
that's a whole picture.
the applicant to add some screening to the back of it so that it is screened from Mysterio Drive. Because I think from the street view look I've pulled up, that was probably the intent of the trees that are there now when Stop and Shop went in, was to screen the parking lot from Mysterio Drive. I would imagine. I wasn't here for that.
That's actually,
Could
That's
you
just
just
like,
take
that's what.
these
what-
That's
that's
actually-
what
Spaces
the
right
tree
here?
Look like. So, I also
Wouldn't that be
note
just the
that
place to
if
put it?
that any location, of course, will be, during the permitting process, be double checked for setbacks. So if it does get modified as far as location, will be,
Because then you
need to
can
make it a
screen.
condition that it's,
You can even do it.
subject to the meeting the zoning requirements.
How about at the end of that top, the top run of parking spaces?
in the driveway.
Yeah, because the Stop and Shop has the place that's closest to their build, at the top of the screen. They have the takeout stuff, yeah, so no, pull it back in. See, cross the drive. You have a cluster of trees, and then you have these parking spaces here, which are pretty remote, right? Couldn't we put it in there?
We're relative to that corner. If you go south,
Right here.
oh, you mean more in the
Yeah, in the
I
parking,
got you.
in the parking lot, right at the end, because Stop and Shop has their takeout all reserved, people who order and then they come and pick up their groceries, so they have that closest to the building. And then usually that whole run of spaces is not used. So maybe put it there and then maybe dress it out with a little additional screening. But
Yeah.
at least you'd have your coverage with the sun. I mean, you're concerned about sun and wind and all the other stuff.
And I think once you see the rendering of the more muted branding, I think you'll be a lot.
Well, I would have really, I really wish you had had it.
I have it on my phone.
Okay, let's see if we could see what it looks like on the phone. Yeah, if you can email it to her, she can put it up on the screen.
Well, I think your point, Madam Chair, is that there's no reason just to put it on the end of the property or at edge of the property. There's no reason why you have to be restricted that way.
Yeah,
Putting it where you're suggesting would give you the same access and someone's gonna have to park anyway.
yeah,
They're
they
gonna
gotta
have to find
park
parking
to,
No matter what. So
Yeah.
even if they park where it would have been,
yeah,
where it was first suggested, I don't think that would interfere in the current parking scheme or delivery trucks or
Yeah.
anything like that.
And
I
it
think that's a
wouldn't-
good point.
yeah, and it wouldn't
And I've
interfere
noticed
with,
This picture is a little different than what I
Leisure.
thought it
Well,
was.
you're not gonna have the issues that Commissioner Miller brought up and that you, Chairman Beely,
Because-
brought up. It might be a good compromise. Is that, may I ask you, to the applicant, are these typically, when they're in grocery store parking, they're always in grocery store parking lots, but is it always at the edge of the parking lot or is it sometimes within spaces within the center area? I
It's
suppose?
typically at the edge, but on occasion we have gone into like what you're describing, that where that little end island is.
Yeah.
yeah,
And if,
Right.
depending on the look of it and how it is, we've either run perpendicular to it
Yep.
or we've run parallel to it. In this case, a parallel run would work because this is a 24-foot station.
Mhm.
Typical parking spaces are 18 feet long, so we'd have 36 feet, which would allow us the space that we would need on the end to access it safely. We can't do that with our larger station size. That's a 32. We have to run that one
I think
perpendicular.
this could be figured out.
mhm.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see how the other model looks.
If it's possible to pull up a photo and have an email potentially.
Oh, George has his hand up again, so let's,
Oh, I didn't. I never took it down. I'm sorry.
oh, okay.
I don't know how.
Down
to-
your hand.
Lower my hand. I'm sorry.
All
my
right, there you
bad.
go. Okay,
John, I got one.
yes, go ahead, Tim.
I'm just, of course, with soda and stuff, I'm looking at the old stuff.
What?
People bring half full cans of soda and they get crushed or spilled. And You know, how is the cleanliness of this? Is someone come in there and clean it once a week or whatever? Because it's going to attract rodents, whatever, if it's sugar spilt on the ground or in the machine.
Yeah.
So that's the only.
Yeah,
It gets cleaned regularly on an as needed basis. Like I said, we see both internally and externally, so we're constantly monitoring it. But whereas most people, not most people, everyone is dropping off an entire bag of containers, unless that bag tears open or has a large rip in it, for the most part, any residual moisture, liquid, sugar, any type of substance is remaining in the bag. And so it's very rare that we get any type of a major spill event inside the station. And if we did, it would be cleaned immediately.
okay.
I think my
Right, should we,
idea of the old stations with
oh, Jennifer.
bags on the ground and everything else, because people
Did she get
don't want to put the whole, empty the bag all the way into the
get
thing.
scared?
And the bag gets left there, you know, and they get inside the store, they get pretty messy. And I just don't want to see that out in the parking
Oh,
lot.
yeah,
It's
no,
maintained
yeah,
properly.
well,
Don't see any
The
problem.
health department actually asked the applicant those questions, how they
Oh,
get, how
yeah,
often they get cleaned, what do they do about bags left outside, how do they manage pests? And the applicant provided responses to all those questions that I sent to you on Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did
So
see
that's
it.
all answered.
Read it all.
all right. Okay,
I did
We're-
send
Read it
you
all.
that rendering.
all right, well, let's see if we can get it.
But I did screenshot it and sent it to you.
Thank you for that. Let's hope we have success so we could
In the,
move on.
sorry, go ahead.
I just
Okay.
want to say for the record that, of course, any change of location, any location, actually, I can't immediately find the authorization from Stop and Shop with regard to this particular plan. That doesn't mean it's not here. We've
No, I'm sure that they
digital,
would.
we've got paper, et cetera, as well as things that were emailed in to added to the file. But any location change would, of course, a condition would be that we receive the proper authorizations from Stop and Shop as to any location changes as well.
Yeah,
And whether or not the commission wants that prior to an approval or as a condition of approval, that's up to you.
And we would need that as well based on our relationship with Stop and Shop. So
Yeah.
that's why I said if you guys have suggestions of locations you'd like us to look into, I'll socialize that with Stop and Shop. They'll socialize it with the landlord, get the approvals, and then we can come back to the town.
okay.
One question I had though is that, I mean, obviously it being in bags, that's how you really cut down on the mess, because it comes down to when people take the cans out and individually handle them, there's some spillage and stuff. So the bags certainly eliminate, but I would say 99% of it, you're still gonna have some sort of leakage or contamination in the box itself. So this thing has to be cleaned at some point. Is this, how regularly do people go out there and actually do a really deep clean of this thing?
So they clean what we call the customer touch points or the surface points, the
Yeah.
handles, the doors, the door jambs, where folks see and place bags weekly at minimum, if not multiple times a week, because they're visiting these stores. You know, they're visiting typically, 4 to 5 stores a day. And that's part of their daily checklist is to clean those customer surface and touch points.
But I mean, this thing obviously has to have some sort of hatch or something that where you can open it up and
Absolutely.
really get in there and hose it down.
Yep, that's on the side and it's done on an as needed basis. Honestly, you'd be surprised at how little stuff gets in
And
there.
that's why I said 99%. It seems to me like this is a pretty airtight plan, but just curious as to.
It's immediately handled as we see it. I mean, it's not, we don't leave anything. If we see a sticky pile on the floor inside there, it's cleaned up the next day.
I may have missed this. How is it emptied? Do you have a
Nope,
truck
a
coming?
truck comes
It takes the whole thing?
and goes into the side access door and they use carts and they pull all the bags out, cart loads at a time, put them on a lift gate, put them in a box truck and off they go to the plant.
Great.
That
Thank you.
happens daily.
Thank you very much. Your presentation has been very welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments? All right, so we have the new rendering before us. George, I hope you can see this online. Oh, wait, June has a
I can
question.
see it.
All right,
This may be a question for our town too, because a question was raised earlier. If things are dropped outside that has nothing to do with the bottle drop, who would be responsible to clean up around that clink container?
So, ultimately, the property owner. And I'm going to take the leap of faith that their arrangement with Clink probably then puts the responsibility on Clink because they're the ones that's attracting the
Bad behavior.
proper use.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, that would, it would be the responsibility of the property owner to clean their property and things get dumped on their property.
Yeah, and I would think minimally that would happen. Um,
More so.
as we learn what Clink is and as it comes to Connecticut and to our town, I think people will be familiar that this is not a donation location, but I do see where that can happen.
Right. Absolutely. And the concerns are entirely valid. And I can tell you just from experience, we've seen very, very little of that. I think the only thing honestly that I once saw was somebody left a box filled with bottles outside a station, and it was clearly they just didn't know what they were doing. And I picked it up and took care of it. But the store and Clink have a really great partnership arrangement whereby our goal is to provide this service to the community. It simplifies the store's requirements under the bottle bill to have us do the redemption program for them, and it simplifies the experience for their customers. It's cleaner, and there's been a ton of unintended positive consequences to us going into these stores. The store's trash use of trash and trash going out of the facility has gone down tremendously. Shopping cart theft has gone down. So there's these strange things that we didn't even think of that have come to light as we've gone into these new locations. So, but you know, we take pride in what we do, and the store takes pride in what they do. So anything that was left there would be rectified immediately.
And you should. What towns are you guys in Connecticut? You said Simsbury.
Yeah, actually,
The Richard Town sheet right off.
Watertown, Fairfield, East Haven, New Britain.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just you have the perfect business model. I mean, I can't say enough good things about this.
I was just wondering, is there another option? Oh, sorry. I was just wondering if there's another option for the red brick at the bottom. Is there any way to do something with like a field stone or a more, I'm trying to think about the other businesses that are in town that use that sort of stone bottom look.
Mm-hmm.
Maureen, is it more like a field stone as opposed to a brick?
That would be, I'm actually looking to see what
I think,
Stop and Shop. is.
yeah, I was thinking, I can't recall what the heck in my mind just went
It's-
blank.
Can. But it looks like it's brick from the pit
You-
photograph.
We can match the store look, you know, we can modify the design. It's a vinyl wrap, so we do have some flexibility there.
Oh, goody. All right. Yeah, because I'm not fond of the,
It's the brick capital. of
brick.
Berlin.
well,
The brick looks much better in person than it does in this rendering.
yeah, it just looks so, I don't know, sterile,
Yeah,
cut and dry.
I
kind of.
understand.
I mean, it looks like mothership is gonna land. I don't know.
It is a recycling box.
I know, but I'm just trying to make it a little bit, I'm just trying to upscale it a little bit.
On there,
Yes,
not brick itself.
correct.
And again, the one on, I did find a zoomed in Google Street View of Stop and Shop. It says it's from 2024, so I'm assuming it's the same way it's now. It's kind of a tan, different colored tans brick above concrete block at the bottom,
I almost rather, I mean,
and actually a green highlighting on the building too.
Maureen, would the version that has been presented to us in the packet, does that conform to our signage regs?
No, that's what I said at the
Okay,
beginning.
they don't.
It's not, and
Okay.
actually this one, a quick cursory view also doesn't. We allow one sign on for a tenant or an occupant, whatever. And so if they move like the bottle and can redemption above the Clink logo kind of thing,
Yeah.
then you draw a box around the one sign.
Yeah,
And if that was, there would be some tweaking that would have to be done
Um,
to their signage.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said. Thank you.
It is one sign that is allowed.
The only
I
thing,
can't read what's underneath the clink, so I don't know.
Just some information that says about if you need assistance, call customer service and a phone.
Yeah, so that might be an
can-
informational sign that would then probably have to
Oh,
be
that's-
reduced to square feet.
can the zoning board of appeals
sure.
grant a variance for signage?
Okay, stone.
I'm just, the only thing I would just wonder is that, I mean, obviously, I can't imagine the hardship here, but you want people to see this thing. You don't want someone running into it with their truck because it's dark out. And I mean, I don't know if you guys, obviously there's illumination here, but the wrong person at the wrong time may,
Location.
plow into this thing. And I just, I hope you guys don't have that. I mean, obviously concrete blocks around it.
There's
but
concrete bollards.
I just would rather it be
Yeah.
visible. You know what I mean? This is not as visible. So that's just my 2 cents.
They cash in their beer bottles.
Yeah, they might be having, they might have made some progress on that, on the drive-in.
We do have, if the little,
That's just
circles
terrible.
above each window, that's, dark sky compliant lighting, so it's directly downward lighting so that you can see, without, putting light out into the environment for, residential areas that might be adjacent.
I mean, you guys have thought of everything.
We're discussing wraps and the
Happy to
multiple,
Entertain any suggestions.
Yeah.
I'll put some,
Wrap anything on.
They're for the commission.
yeah, I was thinking making it look like a tiny house, with front steps and, shrubs, flowers.
I think there might be some
Do it,
advantage.
that's what I was gonna do. Tiny shrubs.
Picture
I
your
mean,
house.
although we like to make it look neat and tidy, we also, my position is that we have to somewhat support their program so that it's identifiable. If I go to your Stop and Shop or your Stop and Shop, or someone comes in, they say, oh, that's Clink, or I know what that is. I think some identifiability needs to be maintained for the business itself in order for the customers to understand or quickly pick up on it.
Yeah, and I think they will with the name and the logo. But we have to I think there's 2 decisions we have to make. And number 1 is, do we want to investigate moving it and putting it in a different part of away from that open property, and move it into the unwanted space or unused parking spaces that are there at the end that we were looking at, or I had suggested. So we should probably look into that first, or at least make a decision on or get a consensus on how we feel about it. I don't think that anyone's opposed to the idea of the business.
Okay.
We're just trying to make sure that the community agrees with our decision on where we're placing it and how it's going to look, because it is important, especially to the veterans' families and all the events they have there.
Of course.
And so I think that's the first question is, do we want to investigate having the facility moved at this point to those last spaces?
Yes, and one of the things that may come up is it's not just you're losing 3 spaces where you proposed it, but I feel that now if you're talking about where the chairwoman was talking about you're going to lose 6 spaces because you have to have the pillars going all the way around it. So you have to count for the back, whereas you wouldn't here. So we may be losing more spaces than one would originally.
But we're going to wrap those pillars with, it looks like, going to look like arborvitae's that have been trimmed.
And we're going to lose 3 more spaces. Out.
No, because they're going to be wrapped on the pillar.
If we put it adjacent to the landscape island that you were looking at, because
Yes.
it looks like it's a cutout island, it wouldn't probably make sense for us to put it completely perpendicular. It would make sense, to put it parallel. It would make sense to put it perpendicular in the closest of those spots. And that way it would only occupy the 4 spaces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
It would be the 3 for the structure itself, and then the 1 that we would need to leave vacant for access to withdraw the bags.
All right. So Commission, what do you think? Yes, and we'll get to.
With respect to the solar panels, I think that's what's kind of off-putting when you just looking at the rendering. It's been taken down now, but can the solar
Alexa,
panels
we have
have a
the
lower
rendering.
profile?
They do. The solar panels that are on the rendering are just diagrams. The actual real ones, I think, are contained in some of the photos that are in there. And that photo right there. And they're quite a bit flatter. In actual.
Much better,
reality.
yeah.
Yeah,
So they do maintain a fairly low profile. And it's only to ensure that we get the best sun angle that we can to allow it to function not only successfully in the summer, but in the winter months as well when the sun's below it.
Okay. All right. So yes, June.
So just my comment on movement. um, I, I personally like it where it is because we are not driving around four sides of it. We're just being facing the front. And I know they're going to talk to Stop and Shop and try to decide what the best location is and maybe get back to us. As someone parking in the grocery store during the holidays, I wouldn't want to have to cross that road there to park at the very end because spaces are taken up for a kiosk like that. So, maybe the edge parking might be more favorable. I don't know, to Stop and Shop, but we'll see.
George, okay, I think George has his hand up. George, did you have a
Well,
question or comment?
I'm just looking at it, and I know it's nice to talk about all this, but I mean, it's next to a gas station. There's nothing aesthetically pleasing about the gas station. It's adjacent to the green that you talk about, and this is far less intrusive than that. So I'm not really sure why we're spending as much time as we are on this, to be honest with you. They were willing to move it if something changes in the future. If they do develop that property, I think that's a good, compromise. And I would say try it. I think we're overthinking it personally, but that's my opinion.
Okay. So while we're on the subject, how about the aesthetics?
I would go with the lower profile. I don't like all the green and all that, like the big commercial. So I think the other one that they showed was, less noticeable, but still gets the point across. So I like the other rendering, that one, yeah, or something along those lines.
Yeah. All right. We have many hands up. So is that many hands on the board?
That's probably
Oh,
my
no,
hand.
That's no. That's the mouse. Okay. It just looks like the commission wants to talk, and I was like, what? Okay. So what do you want to do, commission?
So I do have a
Oh.
couple of things that I would suggest as modifications or to kind of summarize what's been happening, what's been discussed so far. So in our staff comments, of course, we commented that any outstanding staff or department comments should be addressed prior to permitting. And that includes what we've gotten from the health district and satisfying them. As I said, signs and graphics subject to sign regulations and zoning review and applicable sign permits if necessary. Again, the paperwork is, for the authorization, so therefore the approval is subject to receipt of authorization from Stop and Shop and including any authorization for a location change, should that be decided upon. That you need to make comments on whether the design alternate that you are requesting and the brick possibly being beige, that's the decision to put in. Noting also that a zoning permit for the structure will be required. The size doesn't appear to require a building permit, but it would still require a zoning permit to be obtained and applicable building permits for solar, electricity, anything else that they need trade permits for. And I just noted that they agreed to discuss relocation if adjacent properties are or if they're not screened to with the adjacent properties. I don't know how to word that.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
off the cuff.
Yeah.
Commissioner Daly has something, I think.
Yes. Okay. Go
I'm
ahead, Jim.
sorry. How is snow removed from those entrances in the wintertime?
That's worked out between Stop and Shop and their property maintenance company. But we have in the past, again, while our brand ambassadors are in the field, they have shovels in the car, and if they see an issue, they take care of it.
Okay. All right. Is there a certain website that you use for your wraps?
No, we have a couple different vendors that we use, and we typically design the graphics in-house. And then we send the graphics to the designer, and then the designer basically polishes them and then they go for print. So I'm happy to put together some renderings based on your suggestions. It
Mhm.
sounds like you want me to try something with some flagstone, or did you want me to just do a different brick that more resembles the actual building in its own?
I don't know, commissions. I mean, I'd like to see something with like a random stone, almost like a stone foundation on an old
Okay.
farmhouse kind of a thing.
Okay.
But that's my thought. Anyone else?
I don't have any problem with the brick.
Okay, he has no problem with
That's what
brick.
Berlin is.
Diane,
So,
June? Okay, George,
Joe.
brick.
We're with you.
Hey, we were a brick company, remember, throughout the whole town. So it's like it's apropos.
brick capital of the world.
There you go.
Okay. And Steve, how about for you?
I'm a yes with the brick, for the brick.
Okay, so everybody wants the brick. I don't want the brick, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what the commission's of. What?
Red brick or beige brick?
Red, red.
Red.
It's a graph.
You're just being silly.
It's a
I'm
graphic.
sorry, not
Yeah,
red, like the
let's-
brownish red.
Let's give give us a couple
And I'll
of
send you-
samples.
See what it
All
looks
right.
like in real life
Yeah.
instead of as a rendering.
Okay,
It
that'll be
looks
fine.
different. It looks much better in real life. So I'll
Okay.
stop at Meriden tomorrow on my way back to Maine. I'll take a photo. Is it okay if I send it to your email and you can socialize it with the commission?
All right,
Okay,
good.
I'll do
All
that,
right.
guys.
As far as the location or what other, we need a motion on this or what? We Need a
Need to
motion.
decide if you're gonna decide it or
Okay,
you want further information before you make a decision at your next meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve with all information by our staff to be included. And any commission comments.
and the commission, well, there are lots of commission comments, so,
Well, okay.
The only
then.
All right,
question I have is how we have to decide on the color. And that's not.
well, not necessarily. She's gonna give us, she's gonna leave that part open-ended.
Or-
How do we?
So
decide?
that, well,
Still need a decision for it. That would be something that either should be handed to staff as the
Yeah.
staff can handle it.
Staff
Or
review.
it should,
Yeah.
I hear mixed
Yeah.
messages here, so that might be a little difficult for staff to do. Or, I think you'd have to leave it, not make the decision.
I would hope that we can make a
Because we
decision
can't-
tonight and leave it to
Yeah.
you guys to wrap it up. So
okay.
I'll
I would,
include in the motion, the brick type, fascia on it. That's included in commission,
well,
met with the motion. Approval with all the staff comments.
I'm confused now.
Well,
I'm confused on motion. Are we letting staff look at some options?
Nope.
No?
Yeah,
My
I have another-
recommendation is go with the,
Yeah, please.
the finalization of the wrap,
Yeah,
we could put under commission business at the next meeting, or once we have options.
okay,
So you can leave that to the
all right,
detail to be worked out under commission business,
yeah, okay,
subsequent meeting.
okay. About the location, about the location,
okay,
about the location. We should have
Listen,
consensus on the location, I think.
I'm happy to resubmit a couple different location choices for staff review as well as, some further, branding options. But I'm still gonna send the photo tomorrow, just so you can see what
Yeah,
I'm talking about
please.
in person.
Mhm.
But I'm happy to resubmit for some choices to give you folks some options.
Okay,
do we have a motion on the table right now or is that?
motion on
Well,
table, what's the second?
there was no second, so it kind of left.
I'll make a motion.
I don't even know what the motion is. So
I know, I'm
Anymore,
confused.
sorry.
I'm equally, okay.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the site plan application for Kelly Hovey Clink for an unmanned redemption center located in the parking lot of Stop and Shop at 1135 Farmington Avenue, property of Legion Square Associates LLC. Accommodating staff comments and also leaving open the question of the color of the brick for commission business at the next meeting. And approving the application for the site that was proposed originally in the application.
I second it.
Further discussion.
Would you amend the motion to include future relocation?
Well, so maybe I can ask, so council, so the whole thing is that it's like, we're approving it for this, but there's got to be some ability to modify this in the future without us saying that it can be modified in the future. It just seems to me like common sense. Things can change.
So, I mean, I think the other thing that you could do is that the location issue could come back to you under commission business as well at the next meeting. Because I think the issue that you have is Stop and Shop hasn't weighed in.
Yes.
They may have a different idea.
Stop and Shop has weighed in on the initial placement that we said.
Yeah,
They haven't-
but they're also willing to share with us alternate locations.
Well, then take it up with the final vinyl wrap decision at the next meeting.
So
Okay.
my motion's amended to change
This is so interesting.
my motion is amended to change that the approval of the location to instead have that be included with commission business at the next meeting for final determination.
right, I'll amend my second.
Am I still missing the point?
Mm,
Is everybody?
No, I think that covers it. Okay. So, all right, so we have a second, we have the motion, we have a second, so further discussion. Uh,
I would like to have a consensus on if the initial location is okay with the majority, that would minimize them needing to discuss with Stop and Shop other locations. Since we have the opportunity to move it if there's a problem in the future, maybe accept it as is. And then like Commissioner Dyken was talking, in the future, have that option if it's necessary.
That was originally my point, but I think the idea of just getting this moving and then returning for those 2 points, those 2 points returning to commission business in 2 weeks or whatever, I think is fine. But I hear your point. That was originally what I was thinking, but I think this suggestion makes
Okay.
sense as well.
All right,
So
So
with the second
the-
from Commissioner Millard.
well, I
I'm
think he already,
fine.
Oh, he did.
he did, okay, yeah,
I'm further just clearing.
okay, okay. So I'm gonna move the motion, so all those in favor,
Aye.
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 Those opposed, so moved.
It's just, aye.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Thank you. Well, at least you're on the right track. Oh, yeah, thank you. And thank you for everyone's patience in here. All right, the next is the fill permit application of Nicholas Stephen for 335 plus or minus cubic yards of fill at 148 Heartland Terrace in the R15 zone. Okay. Heartland Terrace, that's off of Percival, correct? Yeah,
Correct.
okay. So hi, how are you today?
Very good. How about you?
Yeah, very exciting meeting you're at. I'm, it's wrapped away in redemption. It's just, where else can we go but Phil?
Love it. It's a great idea.
Yeah, all right. So what have you got for us?
All right. So I'm Nick Stevens. I'm the resident and owner of 148 Heartland Terrace. It's a resident off of Percival. I'm proposing to install a 160-foot long retaining wall, a U shape to close the perimeter of my backyard so I can generate a space in my backyard. The current terrain slopes off exponentially as you move away from the house toward the rear of the property.
Okay,
Recently had a 1-year-old at the house now, and I want to protect the area.
Gotta speak into the mic, please.
okay, sorry, George.
Yeah, you gotta be right on top of it.
Yeah, so I have a 1-year-old now, and I'm trying to create a flat, safe space with a fence around it. So I'm here today to present my wall.
It's like a flash.
What happened?
Lighting and
Oh,
stuff.
Jesus. Okay, all right. So how big of an area is, you said it's going to be 160 feet. So it's going to be squared off? You're going to round it or?
Kind of in a U shape. Yeah.
Okay.
Square.
All right, and how much, and you said it's gonna be 335 plus or minus cubic yards. Steve Biella, how many truckloads is that? I gotta put him on the spot.
16, Madam
Chair.
Okay, so it's 16 trucks.
In their
How,
description, they estimated it could be up to 21.
okay, up to 21. Okay,
That's correct.
okay. How'd you know that?
We can see the little.
I was like, what's he gonna, okay, all right. George, you have a question?
Well, I had a couple of questions, if it's appropriate at this point.
Yes, go right
So I was
ahead.
trying to look from your map at the topography, and I'm not sure I was reading it correctly, but it seems like the wall in some places may be like 6 to 8 feet high. Is that correct?
It's gonna be approximately 6 feet tall.
Okay. With a 1 year old, are you planning any fencing around it for safety? That's a pretty
Yes, there's
big drop.
Yes, I'm gonna, as indicated on the plans, there's gonna be a black aluminum fence that'll enclose from the corners of the house all the way around the retaining wall to prevent any kind of fall
Okay.
scenario.
I didn't see that that was all the way around. I knew it was in the corners, but the other thing that they indicated some drainage that was going to be placed in it too. Also, where is that draining to? I mean, one of the issues that I had a little bit, and not issues, but questions I had is it that you're only 3 feet from the property lines on each side. Where is that drainage pipe going to drain out into? It's not draining into neighbor's property, is it?
No, so every 40 feet, there'll be a pipe that runs out of the wall to grade. And that's all gonna go to the west toward the wooded
Okay.
area where I have about 70
Okay.
feet between myself and the next neighbor.
Okay. And what is what's in that 70 feet? Is it woods? I drove by from the road the other day. You do have quite a slope there, so I can understand why you want to do this. What's that property that's on the other side of the back of the wall? Is it wooded? Are you maintaining grass there? Is there any concerns whatsoever of runoff going into your neighbor's yard? Because I believe the back of your property abuts another house, doesn't it, or another lot?
Yeah, there's a lot on Cole. It's heavily wooded. There's a lot of brush
Okay.
back there. Not a lot of potential for runoff to travel very far.
Okay. That's my only questions. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Yes.
So my question is this, tagging on to George there, my assumption is that the runoff doesn't increase from what it's already done. It's just located to every 40 feet along the wall, so it has a place to go like it did before without the wall.
Correct. Yeah. So it's going to be all finished with grass. So it's going to be completely impervious or pervious. So it wouldn't increase any runoff toward the rear of the property.
Okay, all right, anyone else? Yeah, Tim?
Yeah, I'm looking at the lot you're putting in fill in the back, and it looks like right behind your house, the elevation is 300 feet. And below here is 290, a little bit 293 or something to the back. This is going to be an engineered wall, or the wall's going to lean into it with
It's an engineered wall supported by GeoGrid. It's going to
Okay.
extend 6 feet back into the filled area
yeah.
with appropriate drainage behind it. So no issues with.
So is there going to be a pitch on the property from the house at 300 feet down to the back?
Yeah, there'll
If
be,
it's not, there's 10-foot elevation. If it's grades down, it's going to be like 10-foot elevation.
so the way the grades work out, it'll be about 194 where the wall is going to be placed.
Okay.
So it's about 6 feet. And there'll be about a 1% slope to keep water moving, but provide a relatively flat space.
Okay, so the pitch in the back is not going to be that much when you flip from top of hill.
Just adequate enough for drainage. Yep. Keep water moving.
Okay,
That's my answer.
all right. Anyone else? Okay, any concerns from staff?
So I wanted to add that the town engineer did provide his comments, which are in the supplemental packet. I went over them with him, and he did feel they were were fairly technical in nature, and therefore details that can be resolved as he works through the permitting process. And I believe one of the biggest or the concern that staff as well as engineering staff had was just addressed by the applicant, which is that the swaling and drainage not be directed towards the budding property owners. And he confirmed that that's not his intent with his design, and that can be worked out on the plan so that we can see it before we allow him to build the wall.
Okay. And hours of the fill? being brought in? Do we need to look at that? When you have the fill, the trucking hours, do you know the times of the day that they're going to be bringing the fill in?
I don't have the exact times, but it would be limited to typical working hours.
Which would be what, 8 to 4:30?
Yeah.
Okay, no weekends?
We do have our construction is addressed in the town ordinances as far as hours go. It does include some weekend hours that are allowed for construction purposes.
Okay,
I don't know if this property owner is intending to do some of the work, off of his regular work hours, or if you're doing it, if he's planning to do it during traditional work
Yeah.
hours. He'd have to answer that, but I don't have the zoning or
yeah,
the ordinance up, and it was revised, 2 years ago, so the details of it I'm not sure of, but there are hours over the weekends and on, daylight hours, basically.
okay,
The construction activity is allowed
okay.
by, and of course, on the site. Yeah, I think you could, limit it more if you felt that was necessary.
Okay, Tim?
Okay, I'm just, this wall is gonna be 3 feet off each property next door to
Yeah,
that.
I don't think that George can hear you.
George, can you hear this?
I can hear you. That's fine.
Okay,
I thought
go
you
ahead.
can. Okay, it's gonna be 3 feet off these property lines. I don't know, once it gets to the back of the fill area here, if they're gonna have enough 3 feet to grade to the other next door neighbor.
To the back, they have much more than 3 feet. So on the sides, it's 3 feet?
On the sides, it's only 3 feet from one side to the other.
Right, to the back, they have quite a bit of wooded land.
Well, no.
Here are their.
Oh, he's concerned about,
Sides to neighbors.
Yeah.
138 Heartland Taylor's, I'm assuming 158 Heartland Taylor's to the next one. The side yards, the fill is going to 3 feet from the property line. So, first of all, I don't know if they're gonna be able to build without interfering on the next door neighbor property at 3 feet. And can they pitch the grade in 3 feet?
There's
So,
no modification of grade on the downhill side of the wall. It's basically a trench and you build the wall off the trench and all of the reinforcement happens toward the fill area. So there's no modification or interruption of the grade downhill of the wall.
So there's gonna be a trench down this side of the property and down this side of the property.
Directly under the wall. It's what you install the foundation of the wall on. It's about a 1 foot span on each side of the center line.
Okay.
so the
what I would
grade will
say
be the
is
grade.
that any encroachment onto his neighbor's property, if they can't do their construction entirely on their own property, that would be a construction problem or arrangement to work out with their neighbors. But it's a responsibility of the property owner and the
Okay,
construction crew to stay on the site that has the approval.
I never seen
On the subject site.
walls be 3 feet from a property line and be able to be constructed without, I mean, I'm sure the neighbors, if you go to the neighbors, probably ain't gonna complain. But 3 feet is not long to construct a wall. And any grading that might be needed.
And you said that this was approved by our engineer, so he would have looked at that.
Got it. And actually, one of the things he was concerned with was the drainage from the wall. Any drainage
Mhm.
and that not encroaching, felt that could be designed such that it does not encroach.
But he didn't show-
create a problem. He didn't make a comment on that. as
On the
far as I
sides.
recall.
Okay.
yeah. George, Steve, you have any questions, comments?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, a flavor of the commission. What would you like to do?
Make a motion to approve the fill permit application for Nicholas Stevens for 335 cubic yards or plus or minus cubic yards of fill at 148 Heartland Terrace in the R15 zone, incorporating staff comments.
Okay,
I'll
we
second.
have
I
a second.
second.
Okay, we had a second by Ms. Jorsey. Sorry, George.
That's
Um,
okay.
That's all right. And further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. Okay. Congratulations. You have a fill permit. All right. Next up is the site plan amendment application of Ryan Lubby, Pierogi for the commercial installation of a roof-mounted solar at 166 Old Brickyard Lane, units A and B, property of the Kokomo Old Brickyard Lane LLC in the PI zone. You guys have been so patient. Thank you so much.
No problem.
I've been watching you over there suffering in those seats.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's like
Preparing for-
bad pew. Well, yeah, all right. Yeah, wise guy. Okay, so. Good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, so myself, Ryan Luby, and Nick Albino work for Verigy out of West Hartford, Connecticut. We do commercial, industrial, solar energy, a developer based in West Hartford specializing in engineering, construction, and long-term maintenance of commercial, industrial, solar, voltaic systems across the US. So these two projects of the same owner are at 166 Old Brickyard Road. There was some confusion on the module count, but that's because there's two separate buildings here. So we have Brickyard Unit A. It's a 268 kilowatt DC project, 492 Bono solar modules, and 8 CPS inverters with an estimated production year one of 224,000 kilowatt hours. And there is Unit B. It's a 296 kilowatt DC project with 544 Bono solar modules, 8 CPS inverters with estimated production year one of 305,477 kilowatt hours. Both with pretty similar MOs, these projects.
Okay.
Questions?
I'm sure the commission will have something to ask you.
So if a couple things. One
Yep,
is
I told ya.
most of these solar I went down there the other day. It's it's truly in a very industrial area. There's no, they're pretty far away from any houses, whatever. They're on that cul-de-sac going down brick top. So they're across the railroad track. So there's really no houses that I think would be impacted by this, whatever. On these other couple of solar installations that we put in, a lot of the town regulations and so forth really govern a lot of the issues with it.
Yeah.
The fire gets in place. Building gets in place with all the electrical. The biggest issue is to make sure that they have structural integrity on the roof, which I think the building department makes a requirement for that to prove that it's structural integrity. Is that correct, Maureen?
Probably would like to have it as a condition.
Can't hear you.
Wait,
I'm sorry, my speaker was off.
That's okay.
It is a requirement for the building permit from the building inspectors informed me of that on a previous application. However, we think it is wise to add it as a condition of approval anyhow, that it be shown.
Okay, thanks.
Provided.
The only other question was, I think the reg is that the requirement is pretty much to consume the energy that's produced on site. For the most part, are you planning any batteries? Are there any types of electronic controls or whatever that are going to be on the ground adjacent to the buildings that might require some certain, fencing or something like that?
Sure. Nick Albino, I'm the project engineer for both of these sites. On the plans, both sets, you can see where we have the proposed gear locations coming off the sides of the buildings. So they're also near the existing utility transformers and meters that are already on those edges of the building. So that's the location for those. I know we have provided structural reports for you. I know you guys spoke on that. Those were done by a licensed professional engineer. So we have those stamped, and I believe those have been pushed to the building.
They were in the original building and then there was confusion, so they got.
Oh, sorry.
They got emailed. Oh, me?
yeah.
Yeah, just regarding the structural, there was some back and forth email communication. Maybe Maureen. So structural feasibility studies, like Nick said, were stamped by our engineer of record and were submitted a couple weeks ago with building. That question came up today with zoning, so I provided a copy via email to the zoning department as well.
Any other question? Okay, Diane.
Sorry, those adhere to all
Oh.
the Connecticut State Building Codes and then code ASCE 716, so all the federal, well, so, and those are all stamped by our professional engineer of record or structural engineer of record, similar to the plan sets you guys have those, the electrical stamped sets, that we submitted for permitting.
Mhm.
So those are in the same boat as our structural sets.
Okay. Diane, you have a question?
Just one, whether or not you have a plan for end of life incorporated into this application.
That's gloomy.
Well,
End of life?
recycling or
Oh, recycling.
disposal of the panels when,
We have companies that we've worked with, previously, actually, we have these sites called repower sites, so they take, these are usually ground mounts, not in this case, these are rooftops, but the ground mounts, they pull all the modules off, and we have recycling companies that we pay. You have to pay for it, obviously, they don't just take them for free, but you have to pay for them. They take those, we incorporate that into our budget, and then we replace with new modules at the end of the project. Typically, the lifespan is about 25 to 30 years is what the lease goes for. I believe, I'll have to check with my modeling team. I have a modeling team that know the exact length of the project, but that's typically what we do.
Thank you. Tim?
Yes, these panels, are they gonna be standing up or?
They are flush with the roof. So this is these both have standing seam roofs, so they're metal corrugated. We have clamps that clamp directly to that corrugation, so they stick up like little bumps. I'm sure
Okay,
you're familiar.
so there's no fascia around the
No.
outside of the
No.
building?
No.
So you're still gonna see the panels from,
They're they're almost flush.
flush, almost
exactly with
flush.
the roof. So the pitch, I believe, on these is both 5 degrees for both buildings.
okay, they're only 5 degrees.
So they will match the exact roof slope that it is now. They're very hard to see unless you're very far away looking. Basically, wherever you could see the roof right now from the road, you will see, but far away, they're not sticking up like 10 degrees on a flat roof.
Okay.
So on a flat roof, they would be 10-degree pitch, and you would be able to see them a little more. But these are all 5 degree. They're flush with the roof.
Yeah,
So
the original
the low
one-
profile.
The original ones we had stuck up like,
Yep.
you know, and they,
Have you seen a lot of residential solar? They match the pitch of the
Yeah.
roof, so they're
Yeah.
very similar to that.
Okay.
Just without shingles. This roof is-
I just have a quick question, and I think Mr. Miller had touched on this. There's a lot of solar panels up on that roof, on both of the roofs.
Correct.
So are you supplying just the company, or are you supplying and harvesting?
I can step in on that. So this is participating in the Connecticut NRES program. This is with Eversource. So they tell us on those the locations of the gear that are on each plan set. That's dictated by Eversource. That's where their existing utility meter is, and it has to be within, I believe it's 15 feet of the utility disconnect for the solar. It has to be within 15 feet of the existing utility meter. So
Okay.
that location is determined by Eversource. But in terms of production, we are not tying either one of these systems into the building itself. These are in front of the meter. So we do not tie into the existing electrical infrastructure at all. This is going directly to the Eversource transformers at each site. So we're tying into each transformer at each site. And that's laid out on each plan.
so the buildings go
So
on the grid.
Correct.
So,
So can I clarify? that?
yes.
So we found in the past as the way solar works is it goes into the grid and then, it offsets the energy that the property owner uses. So your regulation states that they shouldn't be producing more than they would be consuming, but it's middleman through Eversource.
Okay,
They're producing it.
Okay.
It goes into the regular stream, and then they're going to use a certain amount of energy. So I think the question, if I can rephrase it for the commission, is this amount of solar panels, does it balance with what these buildings will use, or are you actually a electricity generator, which is what is not
Yeah.
surplus generation, which is what is not addressed in our regulation.
Yeah, understood. And we saw that was for ground mounts typically. So
It's
these
for
don't,
both, it refers back to ground mounts refer.
okay. These don't offset the building itself at all because we're not tying into their meter, their switchgear at all. So since it's going directly to the transformers, there's a utility meter and then there's our production meter, and that's shown on the one line. I believe it's page PV 300. You could see that there. So there's a utility meter and there's a production meter for each site. So we don't tie into the building switchgear at all. So their offset is not dictated by our solar. We pump back to the grid, has nothing to do with the building at all. We are simply, they're leasing, it's a lease program. So we, as Verigy, the solar company, we pay the building owner, and that's a lease payment. We basically get their roof, and then we own the solar panels, we own the whole system, and then Eversource pays us a credit and we pay the building owners. So we pay them to basically rent out their roof, use their space, and then Eversource pays us for the energy that's sent back to the grid. Nothing with offset, like you said, is to the building building at all. So we're not offsetting their meter at all. That would be a behind the meter system. That is a different application
Okay.
entirely.
So Maureen, am I understanding this correctly? Because when I read the regs or the zoning regs, that's not an allowable use. They're supposed to consume. I can see a little bit of net metering that, goes out because, they might produce 500 and they only need 450 that day, but this is like they're producing 500 and none of it's going back into the building. I didn't think that was part of our regs.
So the way the regs have been applied is, and I hope I can explain this with the right words, is that, they generate the energy, the amount of energy they generate is approximately equal to the amount of energy that building uses. So you're basically correct, except we know that most of the mechanisms and the mechanics of it dictate that it has to go into the grid. It doesn't stay on site. So for everyone's benefit, I'm just going to read the regulation, which says solar panels may only be erected to support the energy needs of an existing building. They must be on the same level as the building for which they support. So, and that was the question, which I think didn't understand is, are the energy needs of the buildings at 166 Old Brickyard, are the solar panels you're installing equivalent? Are they generating the electricity equivalent to approximately what those buildings use in energy? What
Well, I don't
uses.
view it that way. I think
Oh,
it
I'm
has to
sorry.
be an offset to what they use. So, I mean, there has to be a relationship with Eversource that says, okay, the buildings use 500 kilowatts of energy per hour or whatever. They're generating 500 kilowatts of energy per hour, and there's going to be a credit back from Eversource, or there's going to be, whatever. There's going to be no charge to those buildings for that. This looks like a purely commercial generation effort where the only thing they're doing is leasing the rooftops. I'm not saying this is a bad idea, but I don't think it's conforming with our regs.
Yeah, Maureen.
We only,
Yes, the way it was just explained is that all the electricity is going to Eversource. And then Eversource is going to pay this vendor the money. This vendor is going to subsidize the landowner, which is total. So this vendor is totally different than the building owner. So that is totally a business on top of a business. That's where it doesn't follow our regs. I'm glad you brought that up.
we only saw that reg under the ground mount section. We actually had the regs printed out and we saw that it was only under section, the ground mounted solar panels. It read that solar panels may only be erected to support the energy need of an existing building. As you said, must be the same lot as the building for which they support. And then on section 24 of roof mounted panels, it did not have that clause.
Oh, I didn't even
So-
think we accepted ground mounted solar. But
So in the roof mounted solar panels, the first provision says they are subject to the same rules and regulations as commercial roof mounted. I'm sorry. I think that might be a typo.
That's where we were.
because otherwise
didn't
it's
see that.
reiterating the same thing. Um,
Uh, The ones that we have done, they generated electricity and sent it to,
Yeah, that-
to the energy, and energy discounted their electricity coming to the
Yeah, the
building.
net
Yeah,
Basically,
because they were producing
paying for the
energy for
building.
themselves,
Paying for the building's
whatever they were
energy,
selling
and
back.
whatever extra,
Yeah,
whatever extra Eversource buys from. 'Em. So whatever the difference is,
is the question, does the fact it's not net metering somehow, because of that, it conflicts with our regulations?
yeah, it
Can you,
conflicts with our,
turn your mic
because
up?
there's a
So,
there's a
George?
company in between the building owner.
That's what I
So
okay,
the
I got
building
it.
owner is basically renting their space so that they can run their business.
A different company putting
gotcha.
the solar energy on the building, selling it to,
They're not selling it, they're not giving it back to the grid. They're selling the energies to someone else.
selling it.
Whereas,
to-
and they're not yeah.
Selling it to. the
Grid doesn't
grid,
get the benefit other than, I suppose.
Selling it to the grid, which,
Yeah.
Well, even the energy that gets.
Maybe we should ask our attorney.
It
go
would,
back
nah,
to
yeah,
the
I
same-
hear you.
on the same circuit.
Jennifer, how do you feel about that?
It can't go back to like the main circuit and get distributed to other places, not in Berlin.
Are there other examples of,
No, but-
solar panels in this way in our town?
No, I mean, basically, all of them have been there to help generate the solar, the energy for, like even the
Yeah.
Tom's Corporation and Ablo.
I was gonna say, so what
Jeff,
about them on Deming
they-
Road, the Abloy?
those are
Those are-
ground mounted.
Right, so we have ground mounted, that's, okay, this.
Yeah, but they're
They're to generate, they balance the need, and I guess that's better than offset. They balance the amount that those manufacturers use.
For their own use.
for their
Yeah.
own use.
Gotcha.
So it goes out.
Yeah.
I don't know who owns those panels, whether, I mean, because most of the panels I've ever been exposed to are leased. They're owned by solar companies. They're not actually owned by,
But the difference is this applicant's literally getting into the power generation business.
and I'm looking
Yes.
for
Well, that's it.
right now, because I see that one of the sections was deleted, and I wonder if,
well, the solar people
going back to look
get
to
into
see what
the
it said before,
power selling
it may
business,
be
and then
that section.
getting.
they're naked back
But
All right, Jennifer, did you want to?
between her.
I'm looking for the 2018, the previous.
That was
reg.
deleted.
It was deleted in 6/27 of 2019. We couldn't see that clause.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if
Yeah.
that clause is what is creating. We shouldn't- I'm having trouble finding them.
I know when the ground one came in, we specifically for the ground ones, but when it
Oh,
came out to
I
the
got old
buildings,
now. I finally got old.
it was only the owner of the building that's generating for the building. And they sell the excess to the.
Not to
Hmm.
2018, I don't. These are really old. I'm sorry for this.
No?
Sure is both our names okay? Okay.
It's for the recording secretary when she does the minutes. So, oh, we knew you would.
It's a different thing, you know.
But just Google it.
I didn't hear any rain. I just. The text on was the electric fence.
What do I tell it? How are you thinking about it? You don't have no solar to feed that electric fence?
During a lightning storm.
And we've done multiple projects around Connecticut.
Oh, you're gonna do your farm now.
Like many projects over 30 megawatts.
Yeah.
Alone for the front of the meter pile program. You guys are thinking of the net metering program. They're two completely separate programs. So that's, I believe, the confusion there.
Okay.
No, we're not, I don't think, well, I don't think it's confusion. I think it's,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what we're used to seeing. And this is a very unique type of project and we have zoning regulations that we have a question on the app, how they may apply in this case.
Understood. Yep.
I think we're just working through that.
She just went downstairs to get the print copy because it doesn't look like I can find them online.
So, I mean, his comment about what I'm looking at, the stronger restriction in our zoning regs is for ground mounted.
Yes.
The question is whether this becomes a accessory use to a commercial building. From Kokomo's perspective, I mean, it's not the leasee, it's now Kokomo making a separate commercial venture with another company for his building. So I don't know how that plays in. Does Pura, or is there any siting issues that come into play, or is it small enough that it doesn't come in to play under the siting council with regard to solar?
I don't have that answer right now, but I can talk with I have a coworker, James, who used to work at Eversource and is very familiar with Pura, and we could get that answer.
Okay. So the question becomes, does the lease power sale arrangement really create a new principal use of the property? That's the key, because it's not the leasee or the owner of the building that's making this arrangement. It's Kokomo now using the commercial building as a separate, revenue generating thing. And I don't know how that comes into play with our regs. It's not necessarily disallowed, but now it's not not the people that's leasing the building or own the building doing this. It's Kokomo now, having another use of the building for revenue generation. So I don't know.
That makes a bunch of us right here.
My suggestion would be to table this to the next meeting and get some legal opinions around this and what has to be done and whatever, because I don't think we really know enough to approve it. First of all, it's probably a great use of that space up there. Yeah. One of the things is, like, when they come in and clear a forest and put a solar field in, that's not a good thing. So the reuse of a building in an industrial zone where it's not intrusive to anybody, that's a great thing. We just need to understand the zoning realities of it and see what is the proper way to do this or approve this. I'm not sure we can do that not knowing what we're getting into.
Okay. Is that a motion, George?
I'll make a motion that we table it and then get council and whoever involved in terms of straightening out what the legalities of this are, so that we we sort it out.
Okay. You mean you want to continue this?
Continue the meeting to the next one and seek legal opinions on our zoning regulations, as whether it's covered or whether it has to be some sort of variance request or change in our regs.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Zigma. Do we have further discussion? So all those in favor?
Aye.
Again, I don't want to discourage you guys from doing this. It's a great idea. We just need to do it right.
Okay. Those opposed?
So you'll continue it to the August 20th meeting,
Yes.
confirming that is part of the.
Yeah, come up next meeting. We won't make you wait that long. Okay, we promise we'll rush you.
Staff will search
Unique situation.
Yeah.
if there was a word change or not.
And
what-
I'm just going to call for the vote, because I don't think I called for I did for the whole
You
vote?
did call for
Okay.
the vote.
All right, thank you. All right.
Where you been?
All right, so there you go. All right, Yep.
We'll sort it out.
we will, we'll sort it out. All right, the public hearing. Do we have a call for the public hearing? Do you want to read? You feel like reading? Okay,
Sure, I'll read.
go ahead. Oof.
Town of Berlin Planning and Zoning Commission notice of public hearings. The Berlin Planning and Zoning Commission will hold public hearings at a regular meeting on Thursday, August 6th, 2026 at 7 p.m. in the Town Council Chambers, Berlin Town Hall, 240 Kensington Road, Berlin, Connecticut. Interested parties may join the meeting and participate in the public hearings in person or remotely as provided below. 1. Zone change application of Newport Realty Group LLC for map 5-2, block 122, lot 3, Deming Road from Office Technology to Planned Residential 1. 2, special permit with the site plan application of Newport Realty Group LLC for an 18-unit adult housing development at map block lot 5-2-122-3, Deming Road, property of William H. Jr. and Gail G. Legit. Applications and related meeting materials are available at the Planning and Zoning Department, Berlin Town Hall, 240 Kensington Road, Berlin, Connecticut. And there is remote access to this meeting available by Zoom video conference, and the link is provided. Submitted by Brian Rogan, Secretary, Berlin Planning and Zoning Commission. This was run in the New Britain Herald Legal Classified Advertising on Friday, July 24th and Friday, July 31st, and posted with the Berlin Town Clerk Tuesday, July 21st, 2026.
Okay. All right, thank you, Diane. For the public hearings, our item A, the applicant has requested an extension to the following meeting, and that application was the site plan application for the, with the importment of fill under Connecticut's large-scale beneficial filling pilot program of Braxton Buckway Berlin Industrial Redevelopment LLC for the industrial redevelopment for proposed commercial contractor's yard at 303 New Britain Road. Okay, so that one is, they've asked for that extension. So item B is the application of Newport Realty Group LLC for property at map 5-2, blocks 123, lot 3, 0 Deming Road, frontage on Colby Road, Rocky Hill, property of the William H. Jr. and Gail G. Leggett in the OT zone. Okay. All right, so we have with us this evening, well, there's the last three. Okay, great. Yes, the last three, sorry. Okay, but it's only, yeah, it's okay.
All right.
All right.
Good evening, Chair, Commission members. My name is Andrew Quirk, professional engineer and principal with Kratzer Jones and Associates, and I'm here tonight with Newport Realty Group representatives Mark Lovely and Tony Valenti.
Okay.
Before I go too far into the presentation, we have, I guess, technically 3 applications. We have the zone change, the special permit with the site plan. And rather than repeat myself 3 times, I'd ask whether we can combine the presentations for all of those together, because they certainly, overlap. They refer to the same application, the same property, and all of those things, so that the presentation would be one.
Okay. I do have a question for Maureen. Did we not do the zone change application? Didn't we
We did
address
a
that?
text amendment a couple of months ago.
Okay, the text.
To this is now the zone change that the text amendment allows.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. All right, how does the commission or how does the staff feel about combining?
We were going to suggest the commission consider either combining them, or if you were to hear the zone change separately, to then incorporate the testimony from the zone change into the site plan and special permit public hearing. But I think it is cleaner if it's all combined for testimony purposes,
Okay,
as long as everyone realizes they will be ultimately separate actions and
yeah,
considerations.
okay.
Make a motion
We've
to
done.
combine.
All right, Mr. Zigmont has the motion to combine. Do we have a second? We have a second by Ms. Jorsey. Further discussion on that item? Then all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Those opposed, so moved. Okay, we've combined.
Great. Okay, so with that, I'm probably going to weave in and out of the different applications just as it relates to the property and how it evolves in the plan sets.
Okay.
To begin, we met several times with staff over, I guess, this last 6 or 9 months or so in developing this plan. And I'll first refer to the 2 staff reports, which really outline my presentation, the zoning amendment staff report, and then the special permit with site plan staff report. And those really outline many of the issues with these applications. At first, to introduce the project,
we could pull up the presentation plan. There's an existing conditions presentation plan. That's what was emailed today. Yes, I put it all in one combined PDF so that we don't have to one to the other. So it should be the first sheet in the combined presentation. While that's loading, you should have before you the plan set that sort of walks through the development, the project. Some things to note in the beginning. Sheet B1 is the existing boundary map. So the parcel in question is 9.87 acres. That does include acreage within Rocky Hill. Approximately 8.9 acres in Berlin, with the remainder in Rocky Hill. The property is bordered by Orchard Ridge, which is a similar development just to the north. And part of the reason that we felt that this was in conformity with the area and the type of developments and housing, that's also an adult housing development within the PR1 zone. Interestingly, that property is the north abutter as well as the west abutter and the south abutter. So it's the abutter on all sides, just sort of outlined within that.
It's a
And there's
butter
very
all.
good relationship between the two properties. We've had many conversations with them. In fact, along the south property line, we did acquire a slope easement. So they're certainly aware of the project, and I'll get into the details of that with the design, but they granted a slope easement for the convenience of the project. It could have developed without it, but it makes it a better project with that slope. To the east is Kobe Road, and that's where the access to the property is. The parcel is labeled on your assessor's map system as 0 Deming Road. There's no frontage on Deming Road, but that's just how it's labeled because it doesn't have frontage otherwise in Berlin. But the access is through Kobe Road in Rocky Hill. Sheet B2 in your set is a first cut plan. This property has remained the same since the establishment of subdivision regulations in both towns, both Rocky Hill and Berlin. So it's entitled to a first cut. Property that has not been previously subdivided is sort of grandfathered, if you will, to have a first cut take place. After that first cut, then you're into a subdivision. And then after that, it's a re-subdivision. So the first cut has been entitled, and we did submit that for review from Rocky Hill, and they concurred the planner has to sign off. And what that does is it removes nearly entirely the portion of the property that's within Rocky Hill. So the parcel then that we're talking about is 9 acres of the 9.87, of which 8.9 are in Berlin. There are wetlands to the westerly portion of the property. It's shown in green. It's outlined in green on that map that you have before you. We've been before the Wetland Commission and received their approval 6 weeks ago, roughly, after a public hearing that was held for that application. Sheet E1 in your set shows the existing conditions, and I bring that up because we wouldn't normally spend much time on that, but along with the wetlands, the property is unique that it's sort of a bowl in the middle. It drops from Kobe Road, it drops from the north and the south, and there's a bowl in the middle. We'll deal with that with the site plan design, but we developed a plan where essentially we're filling in the center portion of the property, removing from the perimeter to create a pad that's appropriate for adult housing development. Sheet S1 in your plan set shows the layout. This is an adult housing community of 18 single-family homes. The PR1 zone allows for this type of development. There's some overlap in your regulations, but it's allowed under Section AA, under Section 11 for adult housing. And that defines essentially a 55 and older community. There is allowance for a dependent of 18 years or older. But other than that, it's a 55 and older community. It does allow for multifamily units, but this is a single family type development. It does break out the standards differently between single family and multifamily. We conform to the density requirements. 22 units are allowed. We're proposing 18. We conform to the setbacks and building size and a number of the other setback requirements. Of note within that is the requirement that the development be served by public sewer and water supply, which we are, but it is unique that We are on the border again between Rocky Hill and Berlin. Sewer is supplied by MDC. We've had very much communication with them. And you'll see in your staff review comments, there's a stipulation upon approval that agreements be completed for the service by MDC. They are serving the project, and Berlin has relinquished the ability to service the project for sewer and water. So it'll be served by MDC via the infrastructure that's in place in Colby Road in Rocky Hill. In addition, each individual unit will have a 2-car garage, as well as 2 parking spaces in front of the garage. And then we also have 8 visitor parking spaces for the development that more than exceeds the 2 spaces that are required. As far as I saw, your regulations do not call for visitor spaces, but we always provide that with these types of developments. So that's an overview of the development, more particular to each of the applications. Actually, if we could switch to the next page, shows the development. Same PDF, just the next slide. There should be one that's entitled full presentation. Or did it come separately? Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe I sent it separately. Okay, so that's the proposed development. Okay, so maybe it was.
Last time too?
I did, yeah. But
I just
that's fine. Or I can. Yeah, I think I combined it afterwards.
Okay.
But I can talk off of this one. There's a couple other sheets in that whole presentation that would be helpful. So the first, going back to each of the applications, the first application being the zoning map amendment. As was stated previously, a text amendment was approved by this commission recently to allow for the PR1 zone of 8 acres minimum. Again, we're 8.9 acres. When it's adjacent to another 20+ acre minimum lot size, which is the adjacent property to the, it's worded a little funny in the regulations.
I was gonna say, wow,
Yeah.
that's quite topography that you had there.
Oh,
How are you gonna build on that?
so it's allowed by that text amendment to have the zone change from OT to PR1. And then within the PR1 zone, by special permit, adult housing is allowed. We feel that this development, as is presented in the staff report, and I don't Maureen, I might steal some of your words here, it was well put together in terms of the conformance with the plan of conservation and development. There's a need for this type of housing opportunity. It's a variety of housing that provides adult housing for those that can stay in the community with communities like these developments like this. It allows for expanding housing opportunities and choices. In this particular case, it's adjacent to another similar housing style of the same, so it's not conflicting with the neighboring developments. And then even to the east within Rocky Hill is all single family housing styles and residential development. The OT zone that's there, I think has a sort of a strange history. It seems odd that it would be located in this area. I think it relates to Eversource properties in the area and the technology and office development associated with that. But this property is surrounded by other residential development and a farm to the south. It seems to me it would be sort of out of place if it were developed as an OT zone. It seems far more appropriate to be a planned residential zone. The referrals to Rocky Hill and the CROG did not come back with anything negative about the zone change application. The special permit, again, is for the adult housing development, assuming that the PR1 zone change does take place. Some of the comments that were brought up about the development and some of the concerns, as proposed, you'll see under staff comments number 1, The construction phasing for the 18 homes is proposed as one phase. We're amenable to splitting that into different phases. We've certainly done that on a number of other projects. But 18 homes is a number that could be built cohesively together as one. When we split the phases, we usually split it by utilities. In this particular case, all the utilities are coming off of Kobe Road. So there's not really a natural break between phases. Certainly happy to discuss that with the commission, but our proposal is to just build it as one cohesive, single phase project. And I think that relates more just whether there's staging and different bonding that takes place. We're certainly open to that, but the plan is to build it as one cohesive phase. Again, there's a question about the adequacy of the number of parking spaces. The requirement is for 2. We have 2 within the 2-car garage, plus 2 visitor spaces outside of the garage, and then 8 visitor spaces. These types of developments, they usually locate a mailbox center close to the entrance. The postal service doesn't like to travel within private roads more extensively than it has to, and they won't deliver individually to each home. So on this project, right at the entrance is a mailbox center. It becomes kind of a meeting area. We usually do it as an accessory building with nice attributes to dress up the entrance with that mailbox center. Some of the other comments I'll skip by. The plans before you did not include the building coverage and impervious surface calculations. The regulations are a little unclear on that, but we have 10% building coverage and 24% impervious coverage. The zone allows 10 and 25, which we conform to. The use says 10 and 40, which is more allowance. So we're well under both of those. So as a condition, we can include that on the plans. We conform to both of them. Not quite sure what the intention was in the regulations as to which one applies, but we conform to both of them. So sort of irrelevant. There's an extensive landscape and use plan, and actually this with the units shows it well. Although the plans don't show the foundation plantings, we've shown that on the cover sheet. It's part of the graphics for the architectural units, and there certainly will be foundation plantings around each of the units as is shown on this plan. Since it's not shown on the plans, we're amenable to a condition because that's certainly the intent that there'll be foundation plantings around each individual unit. Backing up one sheet with the overall plan. There's an overall landscape plan and use. Might be a little bit hard to see on this, but there's a network per your requirements to have a sidewalk on one side. And the red doesn't show up on the green. But coming from the mailbox center at the entrance, there's a sidewalk on one side that goes all the way down to each of the turnaround cul-de-sac areas. In each of those areas, there's a gazebo. It's been a very popular gathering spot on these types of developments. Oh, perfect. Thank you. So the sidewalk system connects to each of those and then interconnects between. It also connects to each of the visitor parking areas and makes a convenient loop system throughout the project. That's been pretty popular on a number of our projects that have been done. Each of the homes will have street trees in front of each of the units, and then along the perimeter, it doesn't show up too well on here, but there is perimeter screening to the neighbors to the north and to the south with evergreen plantings, white pines and arborvitae mix to each of those areas. The other department comments we received, we've been coordinating with MDC as we've discussed, and they are going to serve the project. We just need to complete the agreement with them. So that would be a condition. I think that was brought up by the Berlin Water Control, mentioned that in their review letter that agreement be finalized. So we certainly would do that. We've had numerous meetings and would be able to do so. One of the street names was shown as Briarwood Lane, which is similar to some other roads in Berlin. So we would submit Blantyre Lane. Yeah, Blantyre Lane, Blantyre Lane. And we'll have that on the final plans as well.
Can you repeat the spelling?
Blantyre Lane.
What's that?
Was that?
History behind that, I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Tire?
Blantyre, yeah. Regarding the access, again, a little bit unique that the access is from Rocky Hill. We did coordinate with Rocky Hill and as well as staff submitted the plans to Rocky Hill to review. Obviously, they're within 500 feet of the application. They're immediately adjacent. Just today, we got final confirmation. There's an email, I don't know if it's part of the record, that indicating that they're not opposed, if I want to misspeak the words of the Rocky Hill Town Engineer, but they're not opposed to the location. They had originally commented that the proposed drive should be 500 feet from any other intersection. Andover Lane is across the street from, is at the top right of the development there. But then he would accept 200 feet. We spoke further, and it's not a subdivision. This is not a public road. So that is a requirement they have in their subdivision regulations. What would apply is the zoning regulations that say that the driveways have to be more than 50 feet apart. This is approximately 100 feet apart. And so the final email indicates that he's not opposed to that, understanding that he would like to have a traffic engineer's input in terms of that separation distance and the functionality of that. And we have that. I don't know if that's already been made part of the record. Otherwise, I have copies. It's already part of the record. Okay. But just to summarize the traffic engineer, Scott Heskett's comment that the proposed driveway is located approximately 98 feet south of the existing intersection with Andover Drive. This conforms to the zoning regulation minimum of 50 feet. There's very low traffic volumes for this type of development with 18 units and the age restriction. Nearly a third of those are usually occupied singly, and also the peak of the generation from a site like this is usually delayed to be a little bit later. So there's low volumes. He expects one trip every 5 minutes. So pretty low volumes expected from this. He went on further to analyze the intersection sight distance. We meet the intersection sight distance for the 85th percentile speed, looking 400 feet to the right and over 600 feet to the left. And in fact, if it was aligned with Andover Drive, it would be 100 feet shy of the requirement. So not only would that, it would cause a safety issue in terms of intersection sight distance, and it doesn't work well in terms of the site layout. So I think the traffic engineer's letter as part of the record, along with the town of Rocky Hill's comment that they don't object to the location, just wanted to have the support of the traffic engineer in finding that this is the safer and better location for the drive. Let's see. Stormwater management was handled extensively with wetlands, but I'll just touch on it briefly. We do have excellent soils on the site. Whenever we can, we promote groundwater recharge. It's a good way with a development like this where you've got clearing to retain water on the site and keep the groundwater percolating through the same system that it would naturally. We have that in addition to a stormwater basin out near the wetland area that addresses stormwater quantity and quality through the 100-year storm event. There were comments just received from the Berlin town engineer. I have on my phone, I think that was received just before the meeting. And he commented, the last comment, that he was satisfied with the stormwater management. There was a comment, a typo on the cover sheet that would certainly be addressed. The middle comment was that the retaining walls are not, there's retaining walls on the south end of the project. They're very small. That was part of why we worked with the neighbor to get slope rights so that we wouldn't have extensive retaining walls. And the town engineer's comment was that those would be non-engineered because they're not of a height that requires them to be engineered walls. So they're really could be landscape features at that height, and that's the intent. So we were happy to secure those slope right easements and have more of a landscape wall than an engineered, or it's more aesthetically pleasing to have that design. We've also included the architectural plans. I have Mark Lovely here who can discuss the architectural plans if you'd like, or any other questions that you have for us.
All right, thank you.
Madam Chair and fellow
evening.
commissioners, Mark Lovely, Principal with Newport Realty Group. This, if it is approved, will be our 7th development of these type of homes with the same floor plan over the last 5 years. I'm on my 4th one in Sellington. And we're doing one in Watertown right now. We just finished one in Plainville, Farmington, which is Willowbrook Estates. So these homes are very popular. There are 3 bedrooms, which one bedroom that people mostly use as a den. 2 full bathrooms, 2-car garage. They range from 1,444. Then there's a 1,537 square foot model and a 1,610. They're all the same floor plan. Their backs are just pushed out and there's a bump out. Your development that you have here that's Andrew designed is designed for the largest unit, which meets all the setbacks and everything. So what happens is if somebody does go to the smaller unit, you get more space between them and it comes in. And we see the fact where we probably do the largest plan maybe about 25% of the time. We do cater to a lot of seniors that are single. Either somebody's passed away or for other reasons that they're alone. That's why we talked about traffic with only one person being in there. A lot of these, I would say 50% of my customers head to Florida or the Carolinas in the wintertime. So that's why you see the less traffic with these. The floor plans are all open in the center, kitchen, living room, dining room, they're cathedral. There's only about 28 square feet of hallway in this plan. I have people all the time that tell me, I can't believe I'm buying this size house and I'm getting these size rooms. There's no wasted space. So they're pretty economical for the people, even with the way we insulate them and everything. We're seeing with an electric heat pump with energy bills here only about $110 a month. My mother-in-law actually lives in one of these in Sellington. So they've been very, very popular. They have front porches on them. We do have options, and the plans that you see in front of you for the site plan do show a 4-season porch on the back of them, which some people do add, but not everybody. I would say probably about 60% add that feature, but we did design the plans so that that is on there. So we're set up in case everybody wants to do them, we're set up for it. One thing we do, we have 14 different siding colors, 7 different roof colors, and 7 different shutter colors. We don't let any 2 of the same colors go next to each other. I have a plan that I mark down when somebody picks their color. I write it right on that plan, and actually I give it to the association afterwards when we turn it over, so they know what color everybody's house is and that nobody can change to go next to each other. We do in our regulations and our condo docs that we have, we do stipulate that no one under the age of 18 can live in these, so there's no kids in the school system, which is a regulation that we have almost in every single one of our developments. These are a PUD, which is a planned unit development. The difference between a condo do you not own any land underneath the unit, where with a PUD, we set up, you own a deed to the land underneath the unit and 10 feet is a landscape bed behind the unit. What a PUD does, it actually helps for resale for people getting a mortgage, where it's not so stipulated where the mortgage companies look into the associations as much because they are getting a deed for a land underneath the unit. So there's a lot of times question what the difference in a PUD is with a planned unit development with a piece of property that the unit owner does own. The association will do the plowing, the driveways, the roadways, the shoveling of the walks, garbage pickup. Will not have any dumpsters. I don't like dumpsters on the site because you have people coming in dumping things. There'll be one day when one company comes in, picks up everything from the houses on a certain day. Usually it's Mondays or Tuesdays. There will be the street lighting. That will be the bill for that. The insurance for liability on the property for a plowing guy or a landscape guy. All the mowing, the pruning of the shrubs and everything are done by the association. We've been running these developments, and the three we're doing right now, the fee is $225 a month for those. And we've been able to do that. We have one I built 5 years ago in Sulington. My mother-in-law lives at. That's only at 205 right now. Another one in Sulington is at 215. We went to 225 because we feel insurance is fluctuating, so we want to have a little buffer zone for our homeowners. And we actually do, even from the wetlands meeting after we set approval for wetlands, we had people calling our office constantly for these because, when are you going to have these available? When are you going to? So there's a good market for these in Berlin for sure. And we've actually wrote regulations now in 4 different towns to do this type of housing. And the town managers or have all thanked me for it because it's almost like having industrial. There's no services.
Yeah.
And you take a development like this, will create almost 150,000 in tax dollars for the town. And it's great, to service these, I couldn't believe how many people our biggest market right now is people moving back from down south because their kids are having grandkids or they're coming back they're not getting great medical service down there.
Yeah.
They're coming back here for that. And Blantyre is actually a hotel outside of Lenox, Mass.
There you go.
One you must have liked.
Yes, it was.
Oh,
Actually shut down. They're redoing it right now.
Boy. That's,
Points, forgot from the presentation. One is the next slide, does show the interior floor plan that was just described with the 2-car garage, the entryway, the living space, each of the 3 bedrooms. A lot of them have a 4-season sunroom that's been very popular. And then, a patio area. I believe 8 of the units will be walkout units. So those will have a deck and then full complete walkout basement level with a patio below. And then the next slide was mentioned by staff, we had commented that the site was balanced, but just to demonstrate how we had come about that. So that gives us this very colorful picture from our model that was developed. But
Yikes.
the gray areas are where we're basically matching existing grade. I talked about this, the sort of bold presentation of the property.
yeah.
The blues, especially the darker blues, are the fill areas, and then the orange and then the red are the cut areas. So we have what I would call a balanced site. The model showed a fill for the site of 1,510 cubic yards, about 2 inches over the property. I'm very satisfied with that between topsoil compaction numbers and then what needs to be imported for pavement numbers, that's a balanced site. And that'll be, so there's no expectation of importing or exporting from the site.
So you think that whatever fill you need is going to be claimed from the topography that you
No, that-
have?
No, that 1510 fill, if you will, is pavement material. I mean, we would have that amount of road base, bituminous pavement, concrete for sidewalks. We would have that fill, if you will, is material we'd have to bring in to make pavement for the property. So it's balanced. It's definitely balanced. And when you're that close in terms of balance for the site, it'll just be adjustments in terms of landscape areas and things like that, just to finish the grades properly. So worked out really well.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I just had one question.
Sure,
We're
go
a little
ahead.
sensitive about fill. So where is it coming from? I mean, is this stuff that you store or is this, you have a source?
Again, that 1510 is pavement material. It's not.
It's for building the road.
Oh, I hear you. I just wasn't sure exactly what, okay.
So it's just pavement. It's because we've got to get to the pavement level. So we know we have to bring in material. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, what we're doing, we're grading the whole site and using on-site material to get to a subgrade. And then really the only thing that'll be brought in is the process underneath the asphalt.
And where's that coming from?
That'll come from Tilcon. It'll be the
That's my
grade
next-
process.
Tilcon, okay, I got you. That
Exactly.
was, thank you.
Okay. Oh, gee.
Oh, okay, that wasn't really that.
And all the floor plans are 1 story?
Yes.
Okay.
You said somewhere, oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. You said walkout on a couple of them. So does that mean there's a basement in a couple of them?
They all have basements, but the walkout units, the basement level will walk out to the grade. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Other questions, Commission? specifically. Okay, generally speaking. Questions on, questions from George or Steve?
I'm just curious, maybe this was said, I might have missed it. Just like entry prices and so forth. And I'm just curious as to the rationale why 3 bedrooms. Most of these types of developments, you see only 2 bedrooms, and especially when you mention that a lot of single, you know, seniors that are snowbirds. What's the appeal of 3 bedrooms versus? And I know you said a lot of them might use this as a den or an office or whatever, but just curious.
No, basically it's these right here. The sales price will start in the low 500s for these at the 1,444 square foot model. I would say probably we have the floor plan that shows the 3 bedrooms, but the one is right off of the foyer, which most people make that into a den. And most of the time they even make that a 5 foot opening with French glass doors off the foyer. It's just pretty much the layout if you see it up on the screen now. The primary bedroom is the one that's out behind the garage, behind the mudroom in there. And then you have the other 2 rooms that are up in front. The one to your far left is usually the one that's used as a bedroom, and the other one is about 90% of the times is used as a den. But it's just basically the floor plan. Then you'll see the kitchen, living room, dining room is all open. That's cathedral to about 11 feet tall.
So it's not. I guess I've seen some of these older ones at point in time, not the newer ones, whatever. Where they some of the very large ones where there's lots of buildings. I think Silver Ridge. I think that's the one that might be an example where they started out as 55 or older, and over time some of them morphed to be not 55 or older. So that's kind of my concern about. I mean, 18 units is not a lot, but that's my concern with the 3 bedrooms. And now all of a sudden, they morph into not 55 and older, and now we've got a lot of kids in there and so forth, and it's a burden on the school. So that's my concern. So, I mean, I don't, can your whatever charter or whatever change over time? Who controls that?
No, our condo docs are filed on the land records, and there has to be a resale certificate for the person to be over 55, and their license has to be presented. On these developments, out of the 7 I've done, we haven't had any issues with anybody that's interested in these that are under that age. And this type of house, the biggest problem is when that happened with the 55 and up, you've got a lot of these houses that are 2 stories that nobody
Right.
likes because they don't want to go up and
Okay.
downstairs. And that's
Okay.
why we designed this house to be 1 story. It's not really flexible for a growing family in this size house.
Does governance turn to the people that own these units, though? I mean, could they rewrite the rules?
They can't because it's within your regulations that it would have to stay 55 and up.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
If I remember correctly.
Yes.
If I may, if I remember correctly, there is some percentage of by law, state law, where there may be units that are allowed to be exempt from the 55 and over. I don't know the provisions of that. That's something that came up. I think I just started here when there was a change that had to be made on a couple of our associations with regard to that. And it's the fair housing issue. But again, it's a small percentage of the units that are allowed to have a person that's under 55. And then there's a reporting requirement to the town and or the state, depending on how it's set up. And I think I'm actually looking through our regs now. I think there's a reporting to the town that is in the regulations, but I haven't actually found the wording for that in this section right now. But I think it's in here. So that's yearly that, and they have to prove it if asked.
Okay.
So if I
So
could
we have had zoning enforcement against one of the communities, it had to be probably 10 years ago,
Okay.
that did have a number of under, children using living at one of the associations, and that was rectified and put down back under that percentage.
So
Sure.
if I may, this is not in any way a reflection on my opinion of this or whatever. I actually I like this scenario. I wouldn't mind living something like this myself. I'm getting tired of mowing lawn and blowing snow and whatever. And for a lot of people, $500,000 is a lower entry point than some of these that are coming in at $600,000 and $700,000. I'll just make a commentary, and I know this is extremely difficult in today's markets and so forth, but I served as the chair of the Affordable Housing Committee, and especially sensitive to seniors and whatever. And while this is great, the needs are really out there for a lower priced, something a lot of people want to leave their homes. There's a lot of homes in Berlin that have outgrown their homes, don't want to maintain their properties and whatever. There's a lot of 1,100 or 1,600 square foot capes and so forth. They'd love to, go down to a 1,200 or even 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom, nicely maintained in a community like this at a reasonable price, and they just don't exist. So if the world ever changes, that's an awesome target. And I know it's tough in this age, but that's what's really needed for the seniors. That's my political commentary.
Okay.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes.
So I did find that provision within the adult housing regulations. Quote in section 2, at closing of title of each unit being sold by the declarant, the purchaser of said unit will be required to sign a certification or declaration to be used to ensure that the common interest community will qualify for the exemption under the Fair Housing Act to ensure that said purchaser is in compliance with the age restrictions set forth herein. So it's right in the regulations as Mr. Lovely stated.
Okay.
That on the record.
We do require licenses, and our resale certificate does require a license when they are resold from the first buyer to the second.
Yeah.
Too.
That's good. Excellent.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? June?
Just out of curiosity, since folks are downsizing to a very generous 1444 space, I appreciate the 3 bedrooms. That would be attractive, I think. I'm curious for longevity in this housing development. Are your bathrooms capable of accommodating like wheelchair events and walk-in showers, or at what limit do you have on that to be helpful to them staying longer?
Our bedroom doors for our primary bedroom and our bathroom and our walk-in closet and our other doors are all 3 feet wide, so they're handicap accessible. We do a low base shower in the primary bathroom with tiled walls, so the lip is less than an inch for those, so it's a low base lip, and there is room to move around there with a wheelchair. So we have that all accommodated and everything.
Terrific. Anyone else?
Can we get on a waiting list?
We have them, no problem, definitely.
Yeah. Oh.
Approximately, it's hard to tell from the plan of the homes that you showed with the cul-de-sacs. What's the green outset toward the road on the right?
That is actually where the sewer is going to be coming in. The sewer comes in at a lower elevation over there off of Colby Road. It's actually already off of Colby Road, so we don't even have to dig Colby Road up to do it. So with that elevation, it makes us service these homes a lot better with the grading.
And on this map, what's the feet between the homes generally, like on the top rung of homes in the view?
They're 22 or 25 here.
Yeah. Our 20 homes, and then on the perimeter, for the perimeter of the development, it's at least 52 feet from any property line.
Went a little larger
Can't hear you guys.
We actually we carry 22 feet. Your regulation is 20, and that is with the biggest style home. So if somebody goes down to the smaller one, there's going to be an additional 4 feet.
Oh, okay.
between the biggest plan to the next two below it.
You had mentioned that there was gazebos throughout. How many gazebos are there, or?
There's gonna be two, and those will be in the circles. They've been very popular with this type of developments. We have people that grab bottles of wine and go sit out there with other neighbors. They hold some of their meetings out there and stuff like that. So they've been very popular. So we did put two at this development, and one in each circle, and the sidewalk network does go to those as well.
Then they're landscaped out, so they don't look like mushrooms sitting there.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you thought, this is probably not popular with seniors, but fire pits, have you given any thought to those?
We actually let them do gas ones off on their patios.
Oh.
So they can do, because what happens is because of these being the single family, we do let them do a little bit of additional landscape on the sides of the home. Just can't be intrusive, anything that grows over your neighbor.
Yeah,
They have to maintain that because that's their stuff.
that's their
They can do
space.
little plantings along the patio in the back, and they can do little fire pits and different things like that.
So the patio area, how big is it about?
They're usually about 10, anywhere from 12 by 16. Some people only do a 10 by 12 just because they want a little table and a place for
Yeah.
a grill.
Well, in case you run out of room in the gazebo, you can say, hey, guys, come to my house.
My house,
Yeah,
exactly.
really, I'm just two doors down.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, I looked at this and I will honestly tell you, I looked at this and I was trying to figure out ways I could beat you up tonight. Maybe,
I'll tell you.
baby. Hi.
So I've been doing this 42 years, and I'm right now I'm building 5 people their third house, and I'm building 4 people their second house, which will put me at 33 people that I got through 2 houses for, and almost 15 people I've got 3 houses for. A bunch of them cornered me and said, we want to downsize. Our kids are going out of school. We
Don't want them back.
That's how we came up with this idea. And I wrote the regulations 5 years ago in Sullyton to do it. And now I'm on my 4th development there. And it will put me at almost 100 just in. Yeah, they're working on that too. We're working on
Work on it.
plan.
Yeah.
No, nope.
All right, I don't know, materials or just you said that you have already your pre-designated colors or whatever.
We have 14 different colors for people to choose from.
All right,
It's actually a luxury vinyl. We do all 6-inch corner posts, and we do a white starter on the bottom, so it looks like vinyl. It looks like cedar siding. But it's non-maintenance. It's lifetime vinyl siding, which is an upgrade. It's made by Norendex. It's a thicker mill, which is a 0.44. Shingles are our 7 different colors, which are 30-year architectural shingles, and then we have vinyl shutters and we have vinyl windows. So all these homes are maintenance free.
okay. All right. Any other concerns, any other questions? I guess we're not gonna beat you up tonight. Okay. Commission, we're in the public hearing, so is there anyone?
You should check for any of the participants.
Yep. I just want to see if there's anyone in the public who wishes to address this application. Now would be the time to speak.
There's
anyone-
nobody online.
Yeah, we.
There's you and Steve.
No, I mean, no one other than us.
Yeah, they're hidden because it's a webinar
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
from your screen, so we do see that there are a number of people.
Is there anyone who wishes to address the commission regarding this application? No?
Just raise your hand or type in the chat that you want to comment, if you have a comment, please. Hold on a second.
No. Okay.
Like,
Okay. Pardon?
staff likes turns when you're done.
All righty. Well, okay. And let's go to the staff and see if they have any comments at this point.
Okay, so I'll just reiterate that what I said at the beginning, that these are, and that they presented that these are separate applications, so the zoning map amendment needs to be voted on prior to voting on the, when you get to that. your deliberation point. Obviously, this is still the public hearing, but when you get there, you will be handling those as a separate item. For the zoning amendment, I think it, was pretty much summed up in the staff report. States, reasoning, the consistency with the POCD, et cetera, and as he presented. So it's just the commission consider the zone change as they would normally do. Is it consistent with the POCD? Is it consistent with the purpose of the zone and the surrounding area? So those are the primary items on that. Then moving on to the special permit and site plan, we did have a laundry list of comments for consideration and or to bring in as conditions. Some of them are, standard bonding, et cetera. One of the comments was partially addressed. The mailbox facilities are subject to postal service approval. Any modification to the location should be submitted for staff review and which point in.
Do we cover those in deliberations?
Well, I like to, you can debate them and talk about them during deliberations. I have to put them on the record because I don't deliberate.
Well, I mean, should we close the public hearing and go to deliberations? So I would make a motion, we close the public hearing.
No, George, well, because staff wants to get certain matters.
Oh,
on the
okay,
record.
that's what I'm asking. I don't know whether these come into record under deliberations or now. So that was my question.
We have to create a record in the public hearing.
Okay, I'm
that's
fine
fine.
then. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. A great question. And it clarifies it for anyone who's participating, which is always good too. Let's see, another point I'd like to get on the record is the limit of the clearing of trees, because they do have a limit of clearing and where they're showing that they weren't going to create disturbance, be identified on site prior to site disturbance and construction activity commencing prior to site disturbance and construction activity to the satisfaction of the zoning enforcement officer. That way we know that the bulldozer operator knows where to stop.
Yeah, like, you
leaving.
shouldn't be moving dirt at midnight.
Any, one of the topics not raised, or discussed, I guess, was whether or not they intended to have signage for the development. Frequently, this type of development, comes in and asks for some kind of pillar signs, something, just noting that that's subject to the regulations and would require a separate review because it was not evaluated at this time. He addressed the Berlin water control comments and the utilities coming from Rocky Hill. I just making sure that's to his satisfaction. Any restrictive documents and certifications relating to the adult housing be provided so that we can review them prior to filing with Corporation Counsel. I would add a comment that I think should be incorporated that just requires the final confirmation from Rocky Hill that they're satisfied with the driveway and the reply they received from the applicant's traffic engineer, to just final commitment on that. And then the other main concern, let's see, I thought I had another concern. Oh yeah, with regard to the use and the mission consider, and Commissioner Miller raised this point, the affordability, factor. We've just hit 10%. Any new housing stock changes our thresholds. It's a balance. Every time you go up with more housing, the number that you need for 10% goes up as well. So that's something that you've always that you have considered for the last at least 5-6 years with any application, 6, 7 years, I think, with any application that comes in for multifamily housing. And we do consider this a multifamily development. While they're single-family homes, it's a multifamily development because it's on one parcel. So, that is, I'm
Can I
sure that-
ask a question along what Maureen just said?
Sure, go ahead, Mr. Miller.
How would this even come? I mean, would this come into play from an affordable housing perspective, being that the house would have to qualify for like a CHFA mortgage or something like that to be considered for affordable housing?
So the CHFA mortgages count towards our goal of affordable housing. That's something that the town doesn't have control of. That's about a financing of how whether or not the applicant themselves qualifies to get that type of loan. And then those do count towards our goal. As far as the structure of any development and the site plan and approval that goes along with that, the housing that gets counted in that regard is deed restricted to be affordable.
Okay.
So it's on the house as opposed to on the owner. So take while the CHFA mortgages count, they can fluctuate from year to year. Someone might have a CHFA mortgage, then they refinance the next year, or they pay off their loan, and that unit no longer counts. The deed restricted stays with the deed restriction, for whatever the timeline of that deed restriction is.
So I understand how it works from a rental perspective, but how does it work from a purchase perspective in a
It's
deed restricted?
It's a math problem with regard to the total housing costs that the person will have, calculating that out and qualifying. They then show that they qualify to purchase the affordable housing unit based on their income at the time of purchase.
Madam Chair, maybe I could.
Yes.
So with these type of developments, and we just went through this with Watertown, the cost of construction with these to be able to do an affordable unit, it actually raises each other unit by $10,000. So if you were to have one of these, every other unit would go up $10,000. If you have two of these affordable, every other unit goes up $20,000. It has to offset the cost of what the affordable sells for because of the loss in profit and the loss in selling them. You guys are at in the town right now at 10%. We're going for a CO next week within next week, the beginning of the week on 55 steel. That's going to add another 16 units to the market in Berlin. We have already been constructing. I don't know if you've been by at all. 848 Farmington Avenue. That building is already getting framed. Within the next 4 months, you're going to be adding another 5 units there because we did 50% in that building affordable. The only thing, like when we just did a presentation in Watertown and got a project approved, I explained this and they said, oh, we'd rather have the units be at a regular price where people can afford more than have to up the price of all the other ones to pay to offset the ones that are affordable. That's what ends up happening is when you're doing these as for sale instead of doing them for rental, where you're like in 55 Steel and in 848 Farmington, we got the state to come in and help out. So that's what gets that to that effect, where this, they don't. The developer has to take the burden upon it. So every other customer in the balance of the homes ends up paying for that, unfortunately.
Hmm.
So I just
I
want
guess
to explain you how
Yeah.
the economics works for that.
Yeah. Okay, George, go.
Well, I mean, we're fortunate that you have enough irons in the fire that you can contribute on both sides of the equation, and we appreciate that. But I mean, if you weren't that person, then it's detrimental to our goals and whatever, and then we get stuff forced down our throats. So,
Nope,
but
definitely.
I understand what you just said. So you're a net positive contribution, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Oh,
Were we going to hear the story on the name of your road?
Oh yes, the Blantyre. It's actually a hotel up in Massachusetts. It's actually shut down right now. They're redoing it. It's in Lenox, Mass. Yep.
okay. Okay. All right, so go ahead.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
All right, motion to close the public hearing by Ms. Jorsey. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dyken. Further discussion, all those in favor? Aye. Those
Aye.
opposed, so
I
okay, good, thanks. All right, so now we're just gonna head right into deliberations and seeing, and of course, we're back to visit with Newport for deliberations.
Mhm.
Okay. So, Commission,
Let's
what are your thoughts?
start with the easy.
All right, start easy.
Okay, so I will make a motion to accept the proposed zone change application of Newport Realty Group from Office Technology to Planned Residential 1.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Jorsey regarding the change, okay. Second by Mr. Zigmont. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, I don't know if Steve B.
I,
Biella. you vote-
I'm
oh,
sorry, I forgot to
Okay,
unmute
you, in
myself.
the affirmative, okay, all right. Okay, all those, that's been approved, okay, all right. Then we have the actual site plan. What do you think?
I like it.
All right,
I'll make a motion to approve the special permit with site plan application for Ashford Ridge Estates, subject to all staff comments that were raised and presented to us.
okay. We have a motion by Ms. Jorsey and the second is by Mr. Zigmont. Further discussion on this item? Then all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Those opposed, so moved. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, yay. All right, no problem. Thank you.
Is there 3?
No, that was.
Three.
Permit with site plan application.
That was site plan?
Special permit with site plan application.
Yeah, it was
That's
combined.
all two.
Yep, that is all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a, no, you didn't have to, get him away from the podium. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you for everything.
That man is dangerous, get him away. Congratulations.
Thanks. Good night.
Yes, you too. All righty. Okay, planner's comments, do you have anything at this point? No? Yeah?
Okay. Yeah. All I wanted to do was, just remind everybody of the upcoming meetings, because I think at this time of year, it's kind of important as we move towards the fair and whatnot. So you have the meeting on August 20th.
August 20th,
Following meeting that is scheduled is September 3rd.
September 3rd.
Regular meeting after that, and then you did schedule a special meeting on September 10th where we'll be discussing the November special session, Public Act 25-1, content of the text amendments again. And then you move on to 2 meetings in October. But you'd only had that one regular meeting scheduled for September. I wanted to remind everybody you had this stuff.
Okay.
Added.
So for those online, I just want to make sure that you heard, our next meeting is August 20th. The following meeting will be the 3rd of September. And a special meeting regarding PA 25-1 discussion, continued discussion only. That's September 10th. Now that September 10th meeting, is that at 7 or is that at 6?
Scheduled for 7.
It was scheduled. They're all scheduled at 7. All right, I just want to make sure that everyone can make notes for themselves, including myself. Okay, all righty.
That's the big thing.
That was the big thing. Okay, so you got that off the plate. Is there, okay, so that's it for planner comments, commissioner comments.
Yes, I just not curious. What is the plan with regard to the Kokomo solar stuff? What's our action here? Looking at stuff, it's like most of our regs are around accessory use. This is not really an accessory use, so it's either
Well,
he has to come in.
So we can't, that was moved on to the next meeting, but just a quick recap that staff will be analyzing per the discussion and concerns, and working with Corporation Council and the zoning regs and analyzing the concerns raised this evening so that we can update
Okay,
everyone.
well, that was my question. What was going to happen in the interim before our meeting?
Yep, that added to the to-do list for, to give guidance to the commission.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other commissioner comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I will
At-
make that motion.
Okay, motion to adjourn by Ms. Jorsey at 9:47. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dyken. Further discussion, all those in favor? Aye, those
Aye.
opposed, so moved. Okay, good night, guys. Thank you.
Good night.
for joining us. All
Thank
right.
you.